Hey, everybody. Welcome back to the Metalheads podcast. My name is George.
And I'm Buke.
I don't mean to interrupt, guys, but this is Jay.
Hey. It's Jay. What are you doing here, man?
What's... Actually, I've been sitting in front of my computer since the last time we talked. Just this channel went dead. I don't know what happened, but I'm back.
That's right, everybody. Jay's back.
Yeah, Jay's back. We had such a fun time with him last time. We had to invite him back again.
Yeah. We've been pretty much talking nonstop since the last podcast, so.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So we actually hit it off so well. Jay's actually thinking about moving here.
Anyway, welcome back.
Thanks for having me. Everything you said is true. We've been talking since the last time, and just before the podcast, we were all talking. It's just nice to have metal friends, man, and you guys have become fast friends. So
you got that right. A very true statement, buddy.
Yeah, it's so easy to just quickly fall into something. I was watching that metal show this morning. Was it that metal show, or I also watched a Dave Mustaine Rock Icons thing. I think it was on that metal show because they were talking to Max Cavalera and wrestler guy Jericho, Chris Jericho, and Billy Corgan from Smashing Pumpkins, and they were talking about how easy it is to just meet somebody else that likes metal and be like 5 minutes later you're like fast friends. It's just like, that's metal, man.
That's what I trying to explain to people, because at work, out of a couple hundred people I work with, myself and another guy, only metalheads I know there, hands down.
And more exclusive than we used to be, man.
Yeah, and when I go to metal shows, we can sit there and have a friend for a day.
Mm-hmm.
Jay, to let you know how awesome metal fans are, if you haven't gone back and listened to some of our back episodes, George and I met this guy at the Barbecue in August. He had taken a Greyhound bus from Arizona to Richmond. This kid, we got talking to him outside the hotel.
Him and his friend.
Yeah, him and his friend. Took a Greyhound bus from Arizona to the Barbecue.
And that's punishing, by the way.
Oh, I couldn't even imagine.
Yeah, it was like 60 hours or I don't know, something ridiculous.
Yeah, but we talked to him for the next day and a half.
Yeah.
It's just an instant connections there. And that's, and I took my mom to a Bon Jovi show years back. Nobody there is talking outside their little group. Nobody's talking about music.
Yeah. No, it's the same. You know what it is, too? I think part of it is like you have this nice, fast reference. Like if I say Number of the Beast to you, it's not just that was something you know about. That was something that you sat there and you freaked out about. And we were both freaked out about it. And so we kind of have this connection right away,
Yeah, it's like a shared experience that we didn't necessarily have to experience together.
Exactly. That's the perfect way to put it.
Yeah. A couple of guys I want to give a shout out to that we've been talking to lately.
They just tweeted us again.
Another couple of good guys we've been talking to. Cult and Fiend from Thy Demons Be Scribbling.
These guys are social media masters.
Yes, they are.
These guys are all there all the time reaching out to people.
Yeah, that's awesome. So, they've been giving us a lot of love, and we really appreciate it. So thanks, guys. And here's us trying to give it right back.
And may I please say, give them a shout out. If you're on Twitter and you want to give them a follow, they're at Demon Scribblers. Again, at Demon Scribblers. Awesome group of guys.
Yeah.
Metalheads. If you're into horror, if you're into the horror movies, books, check them out. And speaking of that, Jay, you had an experience with a horror movie event last night, right?
I did, and it was a pretty damn cool metal experience. I want to kind of I have to do two things before I start. One is to say thanks to those guys at Demon Scribblers because they also reviewed our record.
How awesome was that?
And that was fine. And he'd heard about it from you, by the way. So nice little kind of weird.
That was like literal genius metal review. It was like Shakespeare really himself.
It was like a little triangle jerk. It was like, we like these guys, and these guys like these guys, and these guys like these guys. Hey,
it's you. and then I have one other order of business, which is that you guys, the last time I was on, we talked about the band, we talked about this and that, and I don't want to spend my time talking about Catatonic Society.
No, please mention it.
I did not say the name of our drummer and bass player, and I felt so bad when I got off.
Shout him out.
Yeah, absolutely. Ken Onesko, our drummer, he's the best drummer in the world. I say that whenever I introduce him. And Sergei Trushel, he's from the Ukraine, our bass player. And they're both just, great friends, great bandmates, and there you go. Now their names are on the air. So
Did they give you any shit for not mentioning them?
Little bit. Actually, I apologized before they said anything, and then Kenny was like, I did kind of notice that, man. You know what I mean? But they're both easygoing, super sweet dudes. So
right on.
They're planning a mutiny now.
Hey, so last night I was at Kirk Hammett's festival. What is it called? Festival. Kirk Von Hammett's festival. So it's like he has, he collects all this horror stuff, from the old Universal films and all that kind of stuff. And I love those movies, by the way. And I actually have his book because it's just, and I didn't even buy it because it was Kirk Hammett. It's just this really cool photo essay of all these collectibles and stuff. So anyway, we were really going to see High on Fire, and it was me and our drummer Ken and his wife. But since we're going to see High on Fire, they also have the room where the collectibles are and all that kind of thing. And it was really cool because he's got have you guys seen those old Universal movies?
Oh yeah, I love them. I'm a big horror fan too.
Frankenstein's actual outfit from the movie,
Was that was the
Boris Karloff?
Boris Karloff, sorry.
Yeah.
Thank you, yes.
And he's got his clothes,
Costs
he's got
maybe $5 or something. No.
Yeah. So that was cool, but the more important part of the evening really was High on Fire for me. That they were amazing. They played 2 new songs. God, they're the heaviest band on the planet, man.
Was he wearing a shirt?
No.
Yeah.
I don't think he owns a shirt, man.
The first time I saw them, again, we talked last week about how I, didn't like them the first time I had seen them. I wasn't into that genre yet of metal. And I remember this guy coming out, scraggly dude, but he's ripped. I was like, what is the deal with this guy? And, he just...
Usually that means crystal meth.
Yeah. I started thinking, is he on something or something? Probably. But
I think he's on everything for a long time. He's cleaned himself up lately, and as frequently happens with heavy drinkers who quit drinking, he gained a lot of weight.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's healthy and everything, but they were awesome, man. Oh, and Orchid was great too. Orchid opened.
Oh, I love Orchid.
Yeah.
And I picked up green vinyl, limited edition green vinyl, Orchid, the Madness one, the Mouse of Madness, I think it's called.
Yep, that's it.
Nice.
And I got High on Fire, Surrounded by Thieves, which was the only one I didn't have on vinyl, and that's cool too. So, but the highlight of the night after High on Fire was there was an all-star jam to end the night. Yeah. And that featured John Five, Corey Taylor from Slipknot, Kirk Hammett, of course. Mm-hmm. And then halfway through this, and all the guys on High on Fire, they were like the kind of root band for this. And then halfway through the thing, Charlie Benante came out and took over for High on Fire's drummer.
Nice.
But now, dig this. So here's the synchronicity I'd kind of alluded to before we started talking here on the pod.
Yeah.
Which was, okay, so here's the set list they did. They did Emerald by Thin Lizzy, which is great.
Love that song.
They did Supernaut by Sabbath. And then they did a piece of Sabbath, Bloody Sabbath. Then they did Iron Fist by Motorhead. Mm-hmm. And then Charlie Benante came out and they did He's a Woman, She's a Man, the Scorpions thing. Swords and Tequila by Riot. Here's the synchronicity. They did In League with Satan.
Nice.
Oh, man.
Evil in league with Satan.
And Matt Pike sang that one. Corey Taylor sang all the rest. And then they closed up with Rapid Fire by Priest.
Nice.
Oh,
it was awesome, man. It was great. That was my night.
I'm so jealous. How
many people you say were there? Small room, big room?
Well, it's funny you ask because it's just briefly. It's a new venue in San Jose that used to be like a casino, like a card house is probably a better way to put it. So it's not like massive, but they did a great job at this place, and it's called the Rock Bar. And like Saxon's coming in a couple of weeks. It's in any case, it was amazing, and I don't know, probably fits a couple thousand, but in the real proper area where you watch the band, you probably can't fit more than 700 or something.
That's pretty sweet.
Yeah, it was super sweet, man. I mean, I was right by the soundboard, and I, could see the pimples on everybody's faces. So,
ah, man, the Bay Area. I've only been there once, but of all the places that I've been in the country, that's the place I'd want to go back.
It's pretty great.
The music out there, even if they're, even if the old, like Big Four bands and stuff. Well, they're not all big. Anyway, even if Metallica and Testament and those, aren't like around and everything, it's just such a cool area.
And you lament to me all the time the lack of skinny jean stores around here. So, you know,
This is the place.
this is the place. It's where all the hipsters live.
Yeah.
So actually, to be fair, there is a pretty good chance whenever you see somebody, if you see like when I saw Anthrax here, like Kirk Hammett came out on stage and they did a song. So you do kind of see those guys, you know, the Testament and guys who show up and stuff for various things. So it is cool, you know. It's the memory of the scene, but yeah, you get to run into some cool things. It's definitely true.
You mentioning that all-star lineup last night. We talked about him last week about we brought up a news story. I forget who mentioned it, George, but we don't have any frontman or anyone flying the flag of metal now.
Yeah.
You know who's? It just came to me. You know who's that waving that flag high and proud and doing a pretty badass fucking job? It's Corey Taylor.
Yeah.
Take him out of Slipknot.
Right.
The guy's amazing.
No, he is.
He knew all those songs, you know, and I mean, there's some pretty obscure songs in that set list.
Yeah, his voice is amazing. He's, you know, recognized by a lot of people for his work in Slipknot and Stone Sour. He is metal. You know, he was on the Dio tribute.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
What did he do on that one?
He did
Rainbow in the Dark.
Yeah, he did Rainbow in the Dark. Nice pull. Yes, he did.
What shows you I still haven't had the time to go get that, but hey, man, it was bitching. So that's my little just plug for that. It was a lot of fun, and I had a great time with our drummer and his wife, and they actually had bought me a ticket for my birthday, which was super cool. That was in March, and they bought the tickets a while ago. So yeah, super fun, and you guys would have loved it.
Was Kirk there when the pieces were being shown? Was he there talking about any of them? Or
he it's a day long thing, and we didn't actually go for the day. We really didn't go till evening, you know. But he does, yeah. He's there for all kinds of stuff. Like he's just kind of floating around, and then he's also, they have signings throughout the day. Like the guy who plays the clown in the Rob Zombie movies, Otis T. Or have you seen those movies?
Yeah, I thought he just died.
No, the clown, not the cop.
Oh,
but
okay.
The clown died too, did he?
I know somebody just died a couple days ago.
I think it was the cop. Somebody told me.
Okay.
Because our drummer actually was telling me that last night. You know, and so there's like little signing sessions, and people show up, and he floats around, and like he'll come out and announce people, and yeah, he's just there though. You know what I mean? It's really not. There's a lot of Metallica shirts. You know, I mean, it's like it is sort of this horror festival, but really everybody's going there to have a chance to kind of shake hands with him. I think.
Yeah, definitely. I know I would.
Going to see the bands or whatever. Like, so yeah, it was cool, man.
Kirk has always been the quiet type. I can never really, you know, get a read on him. I know, you know, he does some interviews and some, but I can never really get a read on him as to what really makes him tick.
Well, I'm going to say something really unflattering, but I think he's, and then one of these words doesn't really fit, but I think he's kind of the dumb blonde in the band, man. Like
the dumb curly blonde, huh?
I think I look at Kirk as like the mediator. He's the peacekeeper. He's the I don't have strong opinions like James and Lars. I try to keep the peace. You know, because like in Some Kind of Monster, he was always just kind of like rolling his eyes and like, you know, come on, guys, come on.
I think he's the one I don't mean to speak for him, but I think he's the one who goes, dude, we're all fucking rich. We're having a great life. Like, do you really got to fight over the fucking front door? You know what I mean? Yeah, I think that's
the voice of reason.
The voice of reason, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But my dumb blonde comment is he just always seems to trip over his words and stuff. Last night when he was they did a costume, because people came dressed up, and he like judged the costume contest and stuff. And he's not much of a public speaker.
Yeah, well, he doesn't really need to be. I mean, he's not the singer or anything, so.
Absolutely. And which, by the way, I was kind of reminded that he's a pretty damn good guitar player, because they traded off like a bunch of long solos during the Sabbath thing, and he was great, you know.
Right on.
It was cool, man. It was a good night of metal and fun, and I do like horror movies, so that part was cool. And yeah, definitely. And George is kindly not mentioning that I was like sending him videos and pictures all night long. So
no, I thought about mentioning it, but I just didn't see an end for it.
Yeah. So that's what I have to say about that.
Right on. Well, thanks for talking about it.
Yes, sir.
Going back for a moment to talk about the guys from Thy Demons Be Scribbling. When we first started talking to them, they both had, you know, one of the guys goes by the name Cult, and the other guy goes by the name Fiend. And I'm like, man, you know, when we started this podcast, we really should have come up with, you know, nicknames, metal nicknames for ourselves instead of just George and Buke. And so I asked these guys, I don't know if they did, but to come up with a metal nickname for the show. Not that we'll maybe use them, but just, you know, for fun.
Right.
So I don't know if anybody did. Buke said he was still trying to come up with one.
I'm bad, Dick. When to come up with creative stuff like this.
Do you have anything, Jay? Anything metal?
And I tried. God, how I tried. I mean, I'd like to hear what you came up with if you did come up with something. Because everything I kept coming up with stuff was like really lame. Like the Ripper. You know what I mean?
Everything I kept coming up with, I've used it in fucking video games for the past 20 years. So
this is Opeth fan.
Yeah, exactly. I'm fucking Opeth fan on Twitter. Come on.
You know what?
And the thing is, going forward also, that's a really stupid fucking Twitter name to have. Because you know why? It really lumps me into liking one band. So, hey, here's Opeth fan interviewing whoever. What an idiot I am.
No, maybe you can come up with a new one.
You've just sort of inspired me, though, because now I think what I want to do is my metal name will be like a metal name, but it'll be like a Hotmail metal name. Like everybody else has that name already, so I have to add 3 non-sequential ridiculous numbers after it. So I'll be like Ripper 642 or something like that.
Ripper, or like XXX.
Yeah. Well, see, it was easy for me because I've got a name that I've been using for a long time. It started off as my part of my AOL name, and my middle name is Gideon.
Oh, dude, that's a good middle name.
It is a good middle name.
It's funny, I was looking at it online, and it's actually a Hebrew name, which I am not Hebrew, but it means destroyer or mighty warrior. But that's not why I picked it. I didn't know that when I picked it.
That's not George.
That's not me at all. When I picked it, I actually was back when I was reading comic books. There was a character named Gideon in one of the X titles.
Right on.
It was like X-Force or something like that. And there was this badass dude called Gideon. And I was like, I like that, Gideon.
There's also, to make you feel more badass, Gideon, my wife reads all those smutty books. There's a book series, I think it's like the Crossfire series, and the main character in that book is Gideon Cross.
Only because I know there's a phrase, and I honestly don't know, but I think there's a phrase, something about Gideon's trumpet. So he might be the guy who like blows the trumpet at the
That's
park.
Gabriel.
That's Gabriel, right?
Oh, Gabriel. Okay, my bad.
Yeah.
Damn those people. You know, Gideon. That's a good one, dude. Yeah, my middle name is Adam, so.
All right.
It comes before yours in the Bible, but that's.
I'm Old Testament, bitch.
That's right.
Well, actually, they both are. They both are.
It's a good assignment, but it was a hard one.
Yeah. Well, so, Buke, you got anything? Come on.
You took it when you named yourself on Twitter, Disciple.
Disciplets?
Oh, that's a good one, yeah.
Because
that should have been mine since that's where I started, right?
Yes. No, but I was thinking about that driving over here because, like, you, Jay, you are the guys who I'm looking up to. You are the guys who've, been in this for decades. You guys are the ones who I'm jealous that I, was born too late.
St. Vitus.
Exactly. But that was a good call. But you guys have experienced this a lot longer than I have, so I'm your guy's disciple in that.
Okay, I've got his nickname, Jay. You ready?
Lay it on me.
New Kid.
Oh yeah, as in
Newstead, New Kid, or New Kid on the Block.
Yeah.
No, wait, I've got it. What was his name? The guy in the winger shirt from Beavis and Butthead.
Oh, that guy. Their friend who they always ratted on?
Yeah, that's you.
I came up with one for myself, and it's just too evil to even be true. Screw Tape. Did you guys ever read the Screw Tape letters?
No.
It's a fucked up book, man. It's by C.S. Lewis, and it's about this demon who writes. No, it's about a demon who's writing letters to another demon who's supposed to be capturing some guy's soul, and it's just a series of letters. They're called the Screw Tape letters. It's really good.
Sounds
that'd be an awesome middle name.
That would be a fucking awesome middle name.
All right.
Man.
And he signs them all Screw Tape. That's his last name.
Screw Tape.
Yeah.
Screw Tape, right? Now it sounds, yeah. Okay.
Or it sounds like what my wife and I do later.
Okay, then. Well, you gotta love the simplicity of Cult and Fiend.
That is pretty cool.
Yeah, that's just like,
and like they always sign off like Fiend or Cult. It's cool.
Right,
that's awesome.
Speaking of Cult, I would also throw out one of the great metal names is Nocturnal Culto. That's such a good name.
Dark Throne.
Yeah, such a good name.
Yeah, he's awesome too.
I feel like we kind of let you down, George.
That's all right. It was just for fun. It's not. It's kind of too late to start using them. You can't just switch over and be like, "I'm Gideon."
But I think we have this. This works though, Gideon.
What's that new kid?
Well, it would be even better, though, if we all forgot each other's names, and then you could just be like, Gideon, I got a question for you, and then just dead air after that. Sure, just
Wait, oh, you mean me? Oh. Yeah.
But we look at our friends in the Metal Sucks podcast. You have Chuck and Godless.
Exactly.
Oh, yeah, definitely. I got to be honest with you. I was wondering who you were referring to when you said Godless. Now I know.
Yep.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, I mean, that's the ultimate right there. Godless. Yeah. Jealous.
Or Chuck, for that matter.
Yeah, even Chuck is just that's up there, man.
Am I pronouncing this right? Chuck, right?
Yeah, but it's with a V in the middle. So it's true cult.
Is it really?
No.
Oh, dude, well, you just totally improved that for you. You better tell him.
Yeah,
that's good.
Yeah, there you go, Chuck. You're welcome.
Done.
You could tell George's AIM profile in the day was massive.
His AIM profile?
Okay,
yeah.
Yeah, you know how you would get go on AIM and set cool typos and away messages and stuff?
Right on.
Maybe that's the thing about my generation, but when my kids my age, back in the day, setting your AIM profile or your away message, you put a lot of thought into that shit.
Your away message. Wow.
I am busy roasting Christian souls. I'll be back when I need more. All right.
Boy, it's funny to think there's technology like that is been outmoded. You know what I mean? We're now at the part. That's how old we're getting.
Yes.
But there's internet stuff that doesn't really matter anymore.
It doesn't really matter anymore. Ever. It will never matter again. Like this podcast here. We're on our last legs. No.
Actually, this is pretty much our year episode here. It's 25. I was hoping to hit 26 so we could say we did one every other week, but the timing of it just isn't working out. But this is going to release a couple days before we recorded our first episode.
Blame the baby.
Yeah. And he means me. But yeah, wow. Pretty much we've been doing this for almost a year now. That's pretty crazy.
Time flies.
Yeah.
Really, the older you get, time flies. That's
I know.
Congratulations to you guys.
Thank you.
That's awesome to stick with something that long. It's hard to keep things together.
It is.
Especially, when this stuff is just a hobby, Yeah,
you're not getting a big check or anything.
Yeah, we don't get anything. Right? It's just all doing it for fun.
Yep.
Even if, Jay, you were the only one who tuned in, or, a couple loyal listeners. That, our friend Will. If we get a couple listens, that's all that matters.
And I would, by the way. I would still tune in.
Right on.
I would still tune in. This is different now.
But now he's part of it. He's part of the machine now.
Welcome to the machine. Oh, sorry. Wrong genre. All right. So I don't know about you guys, but whenever I'm doing stuff for the podcast or for Metal Disciple, I find myself on the Metal Archives website a lot. That is just this huge, extensive list of bands and their discographies and, the people in the bands and all the tracks and everything. And I was on the site the other day and I was totally annoyed because they implemented this CAPTCHA thing. Which CAPTCHA is the things that you put on websites
to rule out bots.
Where you have to put in the text.
And it's all kind of jumbled, spot the A's and the D.
Yes, but it was really awesome and also awful because they used heavy metal band logos. And you know how hard those are to decipher. And it took me 20 minutes to be able to get into the damn site because I couldn't read the logos. Some of them I recognized. I was like, oh, that's Immortal. Okay. But it took me a while to get into the site because I had to keep refreshing it until 2 band names came up that I could read. I was really annoyed. I was like, man, this sucks. Well,
that's crazy. Was it black metal ones or?
Yeah.
That's insane.
And I was like, oh my God, this resource is ruined for me. I'm not going to do this every frickin' day. Well, I come back the next day and it's gone. And I'm like, I guess they got a lot of crap about it. And then I realized it was April 1st.
Yeah, you didn't catch that?
I didn't catch it when they were doing it. I was like, good one. So kudos to the Metal Archive for a good April Fool.
Yeah, that was awesome.
That's a great joke.
You ever check out that site, Jay? Do you have any of your stuff uploaded to there?
You are on there.
Yeah, that's right. We are there. I think. Do you have to be a member to get yourself on there, to load it up, or do you ask somebody to put it on?
I don't know. Well, I mean, people can put bands up there.
Yep.
Yeah.
I was trying to, at one point, I would try and put my reviews on there, just to get like, more exposure.
Yeah.
But the process was such a pain in the ass, I gave it up.
Oh, okay. Well, I think our bass player did it, and for instance, nobody's reviewed it yet. So just in looking at the site, and I have looked at it in the past because it is kind of a nice,
simple site. Yeah, I go there before Wikipedia for looking up anything for a band.
Exactly. That's kind of what I was trying to come up with. It's a little more. It's thorough, and you have a question about something, but I don't know like how they gather the reviews or anything. I mean, George, did you were going to become a member and put your review up, or how does that work? Do you know?
Yeah, I mean, you can just sign up, and I think to be a reviewer, you have to like send them a review, and they'll like, read it and be like, okay, this is good. You're allowed to post reviews, and even when you do put up a review, they still review it before they put it up. And I think I got pissy because like they sent one back saying,
"You get pissy? What?"
Not me. They sent one back and they were like, "No, we're not posting this."
And George is a one in all or nothing type of guy. You know.
Well,
absolutely.
One of the reasons I haven't been writing reviews lately is I'm a very stream of consciousness writer. Okay, I put on an album and I just start writing, and I don't do the typical formulaic template type music reviews. I put it on and I just sort of put my impressions out there. And they didn't think I was focused enough or something like that. And I was like, fuck you. I'll just, fuck you. So I was like, I'm not taking the time to put these out here.
Give me back my basketball.
Exactly. I'm taking my toys and going home.
Well, I do go there, and it is a cool site and everything. But and that's, by the way, just to really kind of add my own stamp of approval, that's an awesome April Fool's joke.
Yes, it is.
Like, seriously, that's super funny. Because I would have been frustrated, too. They might never have seen me again.
Exactly.
Yeah. So thank God they turned it off.
Yeah. It was tough.
Yeah, some of these, I don't understand when you go, and I know, some death metal bands try and be heavier than the next, but I don't understand the indecipherable logo. I don't get it.
It's just metal. It's just like, fuck you.
I think you're right. And I think there was kind of an arms race there. I think it's backing off a little now, I think. But it's there for a while to literally to try to be more incomprehensible than the next, to really outdo.
Like my favorite internet meme, I don't know if you've seen from Futurama, Fry, with the squinty eyes. Right. He goes, not sure if that's a heavy metal logo or a bunch of trees.
Yeah. I've seen that.
I'm going to send it to you now, Jay. You have to look at this.
I love those Fry memes, by the way. I run into those frequently. Not sure if.
Have you guys seen that Metal Show episode with Jason Becker on there?
I personally, me being a worrier, I personally can't. I know his story.
Yeah.
I can't because I am scared to death of catching this. I know you can't catch it.
No, you can only catch the gay. You can't catch ALS.
But this is scary to be trapped in your own body like this.
Yeah.
He lives just a few miles from me.
Oh, God, I couldn't even imagine.
Well, geez, would you go by and say hi for us?
Yeah, I will. Well, we digressed from your.
Yes.
If you're bringing it up.
Did you see that one, Jay?
I did. Yeah, like they modemed him in. Kind of thing.
And I was like, oh, that's so cool that he's still around and like still doing stuff.
Did they plug him in like Tron?
Kind of. It makes me think it'd be funny if Stephen Hawking robbed a bank, by the way, because it'd be like, don't be a hero. Sorry.
So I remember Jason Becker back in the day when he was playing with Marty Friedman and Cacophony, and he played with David Lee Roth for a little while. And, he was one of the guitar shredder heroes from back in the 80s.
Yeah.
And then I heard that he got ALS, and I was like, oh, first of all, that sucks. That's terrible. But I was like, man, so he'll be like gone any time now. Because, like Lou Gehrig, man, it's like Lou Gehrig caught that disease with his name on it, and boom, he was gone. And I was like, oh, that sucks. And for years and years, I've just been like, this is one of the things that in the back of my mind, I'm just waiting to hear the news. Jason Becker passed away.
Yeah.
And it never came. And I was like, oh, that's great. And that's the first I've seen of him in a long time. I was like, oh, okay. And I was curious about this because I saw that Stephen Hawking movie, The Theory of Everything.
Yeah, I saw it recently too.
And I was like, why is it that Stephen Hawking didn't die? He's been around for decades and decades with ALS, whereas Lou Gehrig, boom, gone.
Yeah.
And apparently there's like different variations of the disease.
Yeah.
And if you have a particular type, while you're obviously incapacitated and you're on a ventilator and such, but you can still survive. And so
It's like top and bottom for the last, which was a really inappropriate way to say it. But as I understand it, because I actually I worked with a woman who just died recently of ALS, and one of them will shut down your like breathing systems, and one of them just seems to focus. It doesn't really hit your automatic functions as much.
okay.
I mean, you may know better than I, but it seems to me, and it seems to me that's not even it seems to me. I think I read about it, but and one of those is sort of more focused on the upper body, and one more on the lower body somehow.
Okay.
So, and if you get the upper body one, that's when your time is extremely limited.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I was like, okay, well, obviously, Jason Becker and Stephen Hawking have something in common, and you see Jason Becker as he was on that metal show, and it's so very Hawking-like.
Yeah.
And it was just interesting to me. And, Hawking uses I believe he uses eye movement as well. And he has obviously the voice that everybody knows that he can type out ahead of time and then play. Whereas on that metal show, Jason Becker was using eye movement. Was that his mom?
And how Gene, by the way, wasn't that, I was really impressed by that for two reasons. It was so clear to me that she really knew what he was trying to say, because he would give her like 3 letters and she knew the word. Then she'd be like, oh, okay, it's that word. And sometimes it wasn't like a word it wasn't the most obvious thing he was spelling. You know what I mean?
Right.
I thought that. And also there's a documentary about him and his
Yes.
prevails. I haven't seen it.
It's on my Amazon want list, and I've been meaning to pick it up and watch it.
Yeah, it's supposed to be really good. I think it was even, I feel like I read about it more than just on metal sites. Let's put it that way.
Okay.
But, yeah. I haven't seen it though.
Right. Yeah. I think it's very impressive and inspiring that despite all this, he still is able to continue making music in some fashion. And that's just, I'd like to hear it, Obviously, it's not going to be a guitar, but
it sounds like there's a real all-star thing coming out. I mean, that's one of the things they talked about.
Right.
And I know he's got other records out, and I think it's usually like his old friends. Usually they're people with names, but they do it. I think it's a lot of the guys, because he came out of like that Guitar Institute place, GIT or whatever they called it in Los Angeles. That's where those guys all met each other. There was like, I think it's called GIT.
Yeah, Guitar Institute of Technology.
Yeah, which by the way, I once heard that. Not even heard. I heard him say it was Brian Johnson went out to Los Angeles to go to that, and I think he went for a year or two. Brian Johnson from Tell Him Steve Dave.
Okay, yeah. I wanted to go out there too when I was in high school. They're like, "Where do you want to go to school?" I'm like, GIT.
It's funny too, because I'm sure it's just like in some strip mall somewhere or something.
Yeah, I was never good enough to even like apply to that place.
I'm not either, and that's the truth. Even though I'm still playing guitar, I couldn't have shred. I literally stop at shred. That's right where you're kind of out of my wheelhouse. I can't.
Yeah,
go there.
I'm more of a like rhythm player, and any kind of leads that I've done were always very like pentatonic bluesy, because I've got short stubby fingers. I just can't do those crazy things.
That's where I'm at too. Just totally pentatonic bluesy, but you can do a lot with that. But still, the shred thing I could never really do it. And maybe I can't ever tell if it's because I don't do it because I don't like it, or I don't like it because I can't do it. I can never, never clear to me.
I always wanted to be able to do the crazy lead stuff. I could do a little bit of like Eddie Van Halen hammer on like finger tapping, a little.
Yeah.
But like just the crazy like past the 12th fret lead work that these guys do is just like
everything collapses. Yeah.
I just can't do that.
Me either. I don't know and I think it's a thought process thing with me.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I literally just can't be that focused on that at that speed.
Yeah, I don't understand. I watch them in videos playing stuff, or like the guys on that metal show when they're playing between commercial breaks, and you look at their picking hand versus their fret hand, and their picking hand seems to be moving about half the speed of their fretting hand. And I'm going, obviously there's like hammers and pulls and such, but but you listen to it and it's incredibly fast, and like, it sounds like they're playing a million notes, but they obviously can't be, because their picking hand's just casually going up and down.
Like, yeah, Yngwie's like that. Can I ask you a question? Did Buke like fall over there or something like that? I heard his voice.
I'm just sitting here just listening.
Taking it all in.
I just, about this talk about Becker, I just, my own personal stuff, I just kind of just.
You have ALS in your head right now, I think. Like you just stopped.
He's a bit of a.
I'm a bit of a worrier.
Hypochondriac.
I am.
So we said ALS, and now he's going to go home and be like, man, I think I've got ALS.
I got ALS. Hey, I've got everything on WebMD. Everything.
We all do. We all fucking do.
How did that happen? I go up there and I read, and I'm like, oh, yeah, that happens.
I have a runny nose. I got brain tumor. I'm dead.
Yep.
No, I love hearing you guys talk. And I tell you, Jay, let me ask you this. To somebody, who plays guitar, you look at, like, for example, you look at like a Black Label Society show. Half of that show is Zach up on stage just ripping it and tearing it.
Yeah.
To me, while it's cool, it doesn't really do anything for me. Maybe because I don't play guitar. Does that do anything for you when these guys are up there just shredding face for minutes?
No.
Okay.
Honestly, no. I have to kind of defer to what I just said, though, which is I'm not sure if I don't like it because I can't do it, or if I don't do it because whatever. But I will say this. I mean, you guys will recall in all of our lifetimes and metal fandom times, the drum solo used to be a thing. You know what I mean?
And it still is, unfortunately, in some cases. Yeah. Like we went to see the Scorpions and, still a drum solo. And I'm like, ooh, you're like embarrassed for them. You're like, oh, no, don't do that.
Yeah, for a period of time, Dream Theater fans would stab you in the neck for saying that statement.
But George, you hit it on the nail on the head. You said, like, I'm sorry, I guess you guys didn't get that memo. We're not really doing that anymore.
Yeah.
It is just the old school guys, that are doing it. But
and prog metal fans.
So I liken the shredding to that. And what I mean is literally just some guy up there. It's like I can think of a million guitar solos I've enjoyed watching when they were like old Hendrix things. But no, man, I don't really get off.
Yeah, I went to a Buckethead show 6-7 years ago. The guy is phenomenal.
And that's really what he's about.
But, it was like a 2-hour show. But after like 45 minutes, it's kind of like, yeah, I've seen this already. You've already done it.
Yeah, no, it's on that neck already.
Back in the late 80s, I went to an Yngwie Malmsteen show. It was for the Odyssey tour.
Yeah, I remember that record.
And literally half the show, he played an hour and a half set, and he played a 45-minute solo. And we were just like,
people start looking around the room like, is it time to leave yet?
Just be like, hey, I'm gonna go hit the merch booth, maybe take a whiz, and come out. Oh, he's still playing, is he? Okay.
That is the
Is he still doing the, like every guitarist, when they get into that solo, their face kind of tightens up. Is he still doing that the whole time?
Probably.
Yeah.
I mean, he is Yngwie Malmsteen. I'm not taking away from the fact that he is a brilliant guitar player.
Amazing.
But not really paying to go see that.
No, me either. And I mean, that's why, like, by the way, like in my band, there's not every single song has guitar solos, and the ones that do, they're pretty short. But that's really, like, I don't miss them. If it was me and I was listening to a record without guitar solos, I probably wouldn't even.
Metallica, Some Kind of Monster didn't have any.
And we did miss that.
Yeah, that's true. That record needed something to help it along. But I mean, no, that's not really my cup of tea, dude.
I'm all for guitar solos, just at a reasonable length, A minute or two, great. Let's do this. That's melt your face.
Yeah, melt your fucking face.
But then put it back and get back into the song, and
I'm just picturing any number of. Well, actually, I saw Spinal Tap live once, and there's a really funny scene where God, I can't believe this just been the first thing in my head. And there's a scene, or not a scene. I saw him in
You saw him in Cleveland.
Yeah. And Nigel Tufnell has a guitar solo, and during his guitar solo, they played a video in the background on the big screen, and it was the rest of the guys going out and like getting like a manicure. Like it went on and on and on, and they go to a restaurant. It was really funny.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it was a good. And so there you go. I mean, that was the be all end all, but
right on.
So Jason Becker, though, I think that thing's sad, dude. And I knew this woman who had ALS and just ate her up in 2 years. She was gone.
Wow, that's terrible.
Really super nice lady too. It's a sad. But what's Dennis Leary's thing? Lou Gehrig. He talks. Dennis Leary talk about Lou Gehrig's disease, and he said Lou Gehrig died of Lou Gehrig's disease. I'm surprised he didn't see that coming. You know what I mean?
Yep.
But, yeah. Or Homer Simpson's disease. I think there was one for a while. Why me, Homer? Said when he was When they told him he had Homer Simpson's disease, he shouted, "Why me?"
So you may have come upon this podcast based on the promise of an interview with Matt Barlow of Ashes of Aries and, of course, formerly of Iced Earth. Well, if you've been sitting around listening to us talk for the last half hour, 45 minutes, wondering when the hell we're going to get to it, now we're going to get to it. So without further ado, here's Buke and I interviewing Matt Barlow. Hey everyone, this is George.
And this is Buke.
We're on the Metalheads podcast here, and we are here today with Matt Barlow of Ashes of Aries and, of course, Iced Earth. How you doing today, Matt?
Good, man. Good. How are you guys?
We are doing well.
Doing excellent. It is an honor to speak to you, Matt.
Definitely.
Cool.
I've been a fan for, well, I'll get into that later. But anyway, so one question that we like to ask people when we get them on here is, at what age did you get into music? How did you get into music in the first place?
Okay. Well, man, I've loved music, since I was a kid, and I would sing, like I would be able to memorize songs and stuff like that. And, I'd be doing like the Carpenters and, On Top of the World and all that other good stuff when I was like 5. And I didn't really start getting into singing until I was in chorus and stuff like that, obviously in school. But I started getting into the kind of the stage band kind of a thing when I was in high school. We had a band in my high school called Excalibur because we were the Golden Knights of Sussex Central.
Nice.
And so that was kind of cool. Kind of metal too, kind of a metal name. Although at that point I wasn't really doing metal, so much. I had a bass baritone voice, and I was sort of equipped for country songs or I did some like crisscross and stuff like that. Not crisscross will make you jump. Christopher Cross,
Yeah.
that kind of stuff. But that's kind of the stuff that I was doing with that band. And then I started jamming with some friends of mine who were also in that band, but we started another band, and we started doing like hard rock and heavy metal, like hair band kind of stuff. Was my friends were more into the hair band kind of stuff, and I was sort of like leaning towards Metallica. So we made a compromise. We did some Metallica, and then we did some hair band stuff and all that, and that's kind of how it went. And then I really started kind of getting into original music with my brother Jim, who's a guitar player, and we got a couple of guys together, and we formed this band called Cauldron. So we did original stuff, and that was kind of like my first kind of introduction into writing and how all that worked. And I think the songs were pretty cool. We were definitely more like thrash oriented. Our big influences were probably Bay Area stuff, Metallica and Slayer, and maybe a little Megadeth and some Forbidden thrown in there.
Nice.
That kind of vibe. That was us. Some Testament definitely can't leave out those.
Matt, I have to ask you. George is from a little town in Michigan. You're from Mississippi.
I was born in Mississippi.
Okay. Where were you? Were you? I was going to go. Where I was going with is, if you were raised there, how was the music scene there? Because it doesn't seem like a metal hotbed.
Yeah, no, man. I was actually born on Keesler Air Base because I'm a military kid.
Okay.
My mom and dad were both in the Navy. Me and my siblings were all born on military bases. But shortly after my birth, my dad was done with the Navy. He did a tour in Vietnam and stuff, and he was done. He had spent 10 years as a corpsman in the Navy, and so I was born in Keesler, and we moved to Delaware like 3 months later. So I grew up in Delaware. I'm a Delaware guy, and to answer your question about metal in Delaware, not so much.
I was going to say, living here in Maryland, the music scene, we're so close. It's small.
Right. Yeah, it is. It's weird, man. But then you got the beautiful part of it is that like Baltimore now is hosting the Death Fest and all that stuff, and that's pretty cool stuff, man. It's different. But there were several bands that, like, when I was coming up, there were several bands that were big. I don't know if you knew the band Mystic Force. They were in Baltimore, and I think they may still be doing some stuff around there. But there were a few people that were really into it, and then there was like some really good clubs. Like, man, over in Pasadena, there used to be a club called The Network. And then,
did you ever go to Hammerjacks?
Hammerjacks, absolutely. before it got torn down, dude. I saw like some of the best shows I've ever seen. Slayer, I saw Slayer at Hammerjacks. That was ridiculous. I saw Pantera when they were first starting out.
Jeez.
You know, the very first tour that they did for Cowboys from Hell, there was like maybe 30 people there. You know, I was one of those guys, and we were just, you know, having a great. Now, I'm sure it wasn't great for them, but it was certainly great as somebody like, you know, because you could take in the music, and they were just spot on, man. They were just, you know, absolutely phenomenal. You know, I mean, the shit that they were playing sounded like the record, and you know, it's just really cool. One of those things where you can look back and go, you know, I saw them when they were, you know, actually hung out. They were touring around in a Winnebago. Phil Anselmo of all people was giving me shit for smoking cigarettes, and then, you know, come on, man. But you know, the upside of that too is the guy I didn't realize it was a 21 and up show at the time. Because I had gone to a bunch of shows, you know, network and everything else. They were all, you know, 18 or up or whatever. So I was 20. I wasn't even 21 yet, and Phil was essentially my same age. I think he's maybe a year older than me. And he's like, "Oh, that's okay, man. Well, you know, we'll get you on the list or whatever." And they did. You know, I got on the list and got in and all that other good stuff. So I mean, you know, it's really cool, and that kind of stuff has always stuck with me about, you know, being, you know, obviously I enjoy metal, but knowing just being part of that, and I've experienced that so much that the metal crowd, man, are just really, you know, open and cool, and you know, it starts from, you know, from the top down. I mean, you know, I'm sure there's some people that are a-holes, man. It just, you know, it goes without saying.
Yeah, it goes without saying.
But for the most part, the metal crowd is pretty tight, you know, and I've always thought about that, and I always think about that when talking to people and talking to fans, and you know, I always want to be accessible as possible, you know, and talk to people and be cool with them, and you know, I may not be able to get everybody that's under 21 into a show, but you know, I'll do what I can if it means, you know, if they can get into a show or whatever and enjoy the music. So, was
there a particular metal band that like got you into metal in the first place, like, you know, from rock music and into metal? Like, you know, when I was young, like Kiss was a big thing, and then later on Metallica. Was there a particular band that you just like latched onto and said, this is it?
Well, you know, I mean, as far as like stuff that got me into metal, it's weird. I missed that Kiss thing. Like John Schaefer was really huge, you know, influenced by Kiss, but John's like 2 years older than me, and that's kind of shows you how the music, you know, it's like, if you miss it by a couple years, you know, you kind of miss the big push. And I probably got more into like AC/DC. That was kind of like heavy for me, you know.
Yeah.
Especially, you know, just, you know, Highway to Hell, man. You know, you say the word hell in, you know, Delaware back in the day. It was like, that was a big thing, you know. And it was you know, it was kind of rough, and you know, or you know, the musical content. I mean, essentially, you know, they're talking about selling their souls and all this other stuff, and that's pretty heavy stuff, you know, especially for a kid. And I wasn't, you know, I started getting into Black Sabbath like after that, you know, and they were obviously already established and everything, and you know, well established for probably a decade or so. But I didn't get into them until like after that. So like I would say AC/DC, and even oddly enough, I sort of considered Rush, because you know, my first introduction to Rush was like 2112 and Moving Pictures and stuff. There's some dark themes in that stuff too. And even though it's not necessarily metal, it was, you know, heavy themes. And that's the kind of stuff that I've always been interested in, more than just the music or like how it sounds or how, you know, because, you know, heavy metal kind of covers a big gambit. And to me, the heavy part is the thing, you know, the heaviness, the conceptual stuff, the dark stuff. I've always kind of been pulled to dark themes and things like that. And, you know, I don't know exactly why, but according to my mother, my granny, who was her mom, she was like huge. And this little lady was like huge into like Night Gallery and stuff like that, you know, stuff that was scary. And, you know, she, you know, from West Virginia, a little old lady from West Virginia was like into that kind of stuff. So maybe that's where I get it. I don't know. But
what about any particular singers were there any singers that particularly inspired you, first of all, to sing, and like it maybe helps you shape your own style?
Sure. You know, Rob Halford, obviously, Bruce Dickinson, James Hetfield. Man, there's so many. Russ Anderson from Forbidden. I mean, guys that, when I was kind of coming out of that and kind of finding my own way, I heard these guys and I heard certain things about their voices that I was like, well, that kind of sounds like me in this part. But I need to work on this part. Like Rob Halford has a really beautiful, lower end range. I mean, he has, just some really neat, timbre to his voice. But he was able to do all this high stuff that I couldn't do at the time. I was, so all that stuff I really had to work on.
Matt, I don't know how much you look online at different things, but fans, have an opinion about everything. But if you look online, a lot of people put you there with the greats and stuff. How does that make you feel? Well,
I mean, honored, obviously, man. I mean, that's incredible. I mean, it very, very flattering. Now, I think everybody puts themselves into a thing, and you're always your own worst critic. So you kind of look at it and you go, well, I'm not those guys, and for obvious reasons, I can say that I'm not Rob Halford. I'm not Bruce Dickinson. I've never attained that kind of status for doing, and it's a combination of things because it's not just Bruce and it's not just Rob. It's Judas Priest and it's Iron Maiden, and I mean, those guys obviously got to where they are because of a group effort and things like that. And I got to give every bit of credit to John Schaefer for taking me on. I attained what I was able to attain and what I have been able to attain because of John. I mean, I'm not gonna bullshit anybody and say otherwise. I was given an opportunity. I made the best of my opportunity. That's how it works. And but I have always tried to improve upon and expand my instrument, and that's kind of a tough thing to do, and sometimes. And a lot of guys get out there and they abuse it, and they, you just,
yep.
It's tough, man. When you carry your instrument with you, 24/7, it's really tough to sometimes not abuse it because that's how we are. That's human nature. But just try to take care of it and roll. And
no,
but
Matt, I'm sorry.
No, that's okay, man. Go ahead.
I was gonna say when you burst onto the scene, music in the metal world was, like George and I talked about earlier, between ourselves before we called you, was almost non-existent, almost dead. Isn't that what you were saying, George? It was kind of stale.
Well, it was during the alternative grunge time, and so the thrash bands were sort of going away, and I know the death metal and black metal bands were starting to emerge. But for me, as I came up listening during the early '80s, and by the time the early 90s came around, I was really kind of hard-pressed to find new music in the record store that, was metal that I was, really excited about. And in fact, Night of the Storm Rider, when that came out, I was like, holy crap. Yeah, and I loved that. And then the next album came out. I opened it up and I was looking at it and I was like, wait a minute, they changed singers. I was like, no.
The curse of the changing singers. Yeah.
And I was so disappointed until I played it. And and ever since then, you've been the voice of Iced Earth for me. So
that's cool, man. I appreciate that.
What were you saying, Matt?
I was going to ask you.
I was just going to say that record is kind of an interesting thing because for me, obviously, it holds a lot of sentimental value for me, and it was one that we didn't play a lot of because John just really, he had a big. That was marked a dark time in his life, even though, hopefully now he looks back at it and goes, well, that was a pretty good time though, because, I picked up Matt and we did a lot with that. But there's a lot of cool songs on that record, and there, wherever the inspiration came from, whether it was just pure negativity, but a lot of people still say that's one of their favorite records because maybe because it was the first one they listened to or whatever, but also I think because of the, those themes and that darkness and heaviness, and, we have a lot of death and black metal fans that really, that's the record that they go to. And the cool thing about that is it kind of shows you the diversity of Iced Earth and what we were able to do. And we kind of, bridged a lot of divides in metal and did a lot of different things. And, people would always try to put Iced Earth or whatever into a hole, and what are you? Are you this or that or the other? And, the answer is just metal, it's heavy metal. And because you can't really kind of go, where is it? And that's a good thing, I think.
Yeah. The album we're talking about here is Burnt Offerings. And I just realized last night that this month marks the 20th anniversary of the release of Burnt Offerings.
Wow.
Do you have any thoughts on that milestone?
I don't really. That's a long time there, man. Thanks a lot for.
Thanks for making him feel old, George.
Well, it made me feel old too, because like I was saying, I bought that when it first came out 20 years ago, and that little story about the looking through the booklet, it was 20 years ago, and it doesn't seem that long ago, but time flies.
Yep, it does. But hopefully people will go, well, let's listen to some oldies and pick up record, and listen to it. I mean, that's great. That's awesome.
I kind of got ahead of myself there, but I still wanted to ask you about the best show you've ever attended.
Because, Matt, what I wanted George and I to ask this. I saw on your Facebook a couple months back, you posed a great question to your fans. What was their greatest live experience? And I saw you, maybe to help your memory here, you mentioned something about seeing Ozzy at the Salisbury Civic Center and then talking to Zakk Wylde after the show.
Yeah, at the Burger King. It was bizarre. It was like, because they pulled up on a bus, and I think, man, I cannot remember who was drumming for them at the time. It was because those two guys were on the same bus. I think they had the bus. Of course, Ozzy was, he was somewhere else and doing. I think but yeah, it was like his first tour. It was Zakk Wylde's first tour, and it was like maybe their second or third show. I think. Was
it Randy Castillo?
It was Castillo, exactly. Yeah, and Castillo was kind of but Zakk. I mean, I'm not saying maybe he just had a bad night, but he was kind of like he was more, I think, talking to the girls or something. I don't know, but Zakk was like really wide-eyed, fresh-faced, and like just really happy to talk to people, and that's cool. And I don't know that he's not still that way. And actually, I met Zakk one other time. I think he was going to fly to Florida, and I was flying at the same time or something. We were on the same flight. He was going to a clinic, I think, maybe, and I was flying for some reason. Anyway, I talked to him for a bit then too. But anyway, I digress. So yeah, that was a really cool experience, and I cannot remember what year that was. 89, maybe, something like that. And see if I recall right, White Lion and Vixen were open for them. Yeah.
Wow. For listeners of the podcast here, I may have said it in the past. I myself in law enforcement. Matt is himself in law enforcement too. I wanted to ask you, Matt, has the reception been positive for you over the years in changing into that field?
I think for the most part it has, man. I mean, obviously you're going to have some people that just hate. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. They just can't. They can't. But I mean, I think most of those folks probably don't converse with me, or they don't. Whatever. They don't. They're not fans on Facebook or whatever. I mean, maybe they are just because whatever. But some people just they're just not ever going to like police or whatever. I mean, obviously there's a lot of stuff going on right now, and people don't like, and
the climate is not favorable.
Everybody's going to have opinions, and that's fine, man. But that does. I would say that 99%, man. I mean, is positive, and people get it, and people understand that have to have police, man. There has to be some sort of law and order. Anarchy would never work in a million years, because anarchy essentially is the strongest survive. Like, period, and that's it. And you have to have laws to set up for the meek. You know what I mean?
Of course. That's what you want to say? Sheepdog in the sheep. that's how I've heard it described before.
Yep. That's it, man. I mean, and we do our best, man. That's that's all I can say. I'm sure Buke understands, knows that, and we do our best and do our job.
Do you think you get asked about it, in recent years, because a lot of people can't fathom a metal singer being an officer at the same time? Almost like they don't go together. Yeah, but I guess, man. But I guess you'd be surprised. I think there's a lot of metalheads. I mean, are there as many metalheads as maybe country music listeners in the law enforcement field? Maybe not. I don't know. Yeah.
But there are quite a few. I'm even in my department. There's some metalheads that my captain, one of his favorite bands is Megadeth. So. It just, I think, we're all growing up, and we a lot of the guys that are in law enforcement now, I mean, were listening to, Metallica on regular stations back in the day, when the Black Album came out, and those guys grew up listening to it, whether it was, directly, hey, I'm a metalhead, or if it was just I'm listening to the radio and I'm hearing Metallica and Megadeth and Ozzy and all this stuff. So it's not, I just don't think it's a stretch. I don't think that there's as much of a stigma attached to, heavy metal. Certainly not as, back when I was coming up, and it was like, the people at going to Ozzy and, protesting and stuff like that. And, because he's biting the heads off of rubber bats and stuff.
Now, one of the questions, probably the biggest question I wanted to ask you, but when I got you on, is, in our line of work, on any given day, tragically, our departments both have lost officers in the line of duty. We could run into somebody who their only, goal could be to end our lives. Has that made you take a step back and maybe look throughout the years and say, you know what, maybe those times that, we got upset that this show didn't have these many people here, or, this record didn't do so well, I'm kind of maybe put things in perspective now, because, with the birth of my first child over the summer, me personally, it made me, in going to work every day, put things in perspective a lot more. And I wondered, since you've seen two different worlds, of touring the world in a band and now your day-to-day work.
Yeah, I think that just comes with not only with the career in law enforcement, but just also with growing up and, like you said, having kids. I mean, everything like that, it changes your perspective, and that's one of the coolest things about still doing music and doing it, maybe in a more limited aspect with Ashes of Aries because of careers and things like that with guys in the band, mine included. But you do it because you love it, man, and that's what it is for me, and that's what it's come down to. It's less of a drive for me to excel, quote excel in the music industry, and by that I mean do whatever you can to scratch and claw your way to the top, or just produce good music that you enjoy, that you want other people to hear, and you want to share. You want to share with those other people. And when we do go out on tour and we do stuff, it's not about how many people we can get packed in. Obviously, you want people to come to your show and enjoy your show, but at the same time, if there's 15 people show up, 15, 20 people, you're still going to put on the best possible show you can. You're going to have fun with it, and then when you're done with the show, you're going to get out there and shake hands and talk to them, and and do what you do. You're there to entertain, and you're there to bring your music out, and that's what it's about for me now. I mean, I've always wanted it to be that way. Obviously, at other points in my life, we were really concerned about how many people were getting in here and all this other stuff. And, it changes your perspective on things. But I do this music because I love it. And that's the most important thing. And that's, another reason why I'm in law enforcement, because I love it. If I didn't love it and I figured that out within a couple years, I'd probably be doing something else. But, I'm going on 12 years and I love what I do. So.
Yeah, I have 10 years on too, but it's a calling. You feel it inside yourself. Do you, transitioning into law enforcement now, do you look back with any regrets for your past days in the metal world?
No, I really don't, man. I mean,
okay, because you've transitioned now into Ashes of Aries, which sounds like you have a great balance between the work and band life.
Yeah. I mean, it's worked out really, really well, man. And like I said, I've got obviously great support systems. My wife is very supportive. My family's really supportive. My other my bandmates are very supportive. How balancing that out, and my my career, my comrades at the department are very supportive.
Do they all know who you are prior to this job?
What do you mean?
Do they know the greatness? Who, when they meet you for the first time, do they realize who they're talking to?
Yeah. Well, some of the guys when guys come on or whatever, they may not know, but then typically somebody will say something, then they'll Google, and then it'll go on from there. But yeah, I still have one guy I've worked with for a couple of years now. He every time I walk in the room, he goes, "The rock star," But that's who he is,
Yeah, I've got a friend like that too. He's in a semi-national band, and we work together, and everybody there calls him the rock star too. So
Right. Yeah. So it's all in good fun. But yeah, I mean, I just think that guys are really supportive. There's some guys that have come out to shows. Some guys that that obviously can't. We're a small department, so every time I do a show, like at least half the guys, they're going to be working. so can't shut down the town to come out and see the show. But
no, you can't.
Right. But I appreciate the support that I do get, and I know everybody's really supportive of what I do musically and stuff like that. So that's cool.
As long as the command staff allows you to do it, that's all that matters.
Yeah, and that's really been awesome. I mean, like I was saying before, my captain's he's a metalhead, maybe more of a closet metalhead, but he likes to work out to Megadeth and stuff like that. And when I went back with Iced Earth for those couple of years, and we were doing a lot of shows, he helped kind of move the schedule around a little bit and help me out, help me utilize my vacation days the best of their ability. But that's pretty much what I do. I try not to take unpaid leave or anything like that, because that just hurts the department in the long run. And so I try to stay within the parameters of using my paid leave to do what I do, and it's worked out really well so far. So.
Great. Are you still doing anything with the First State Force Band?
No, man, I really haven't for a couple of years. And I kind of, when I went back with Iced Earth, I kind of definitely got away from that, because I had so much going on, man. I had, little kids, our first son was born in 05, and then, our second was born in 07. And so just so many things going on. And, I definitely appreciate the cause and the message. I couldn't do it anymore. It was a lot of stuff going on, and it was kind of a lot to do. And those guys, there's a lot of talented guys in the band, and there are a lot of talented people within the law enforcement community in Delaware. So I don't think they're missing me. So.
Right. That sounded like a cool project, sort of a way to work both things in.
It is, and the message mainly is obviously the keep away from drugs, violence, and respect people. Those are the kind of the main themes of the band, and it's targeted towards elementary school kids. Now I always thought kind of a cool concept would be to do something heavier and directed towards high school, but I don't know how that would work either. I don't know if high school kids are more cynical now or what, but I remember back when I was in high school, there was a rock band that went around, and they kind of had the same message, and I think they were Christian backed, but they weren't like here's a bunch of Bibles or anything like that. They just kind of had the same message, kind of do the right thing, and kind of stay away from drugs and stay on the right path. I don't know if I was affected by that, but I certainly appreciated the fact that they were bringing heavier music in and stuff like that, and they sounded good. They were doing like Van Halen and different things, and I thought it was a kind of a cool thing, and we got to see that in high school. I can't remember what the name of the group was, but I thought it was kind of a cool thing.
So I got to say, when I first heard about Ashes of Aries, I had to do a little like fist pump and just be like, yes, he's back. How did you come about with coming up with Ashes of Aries? Obviously, you needed some sort of output, but I mean, how did it come together?
Well, Freddie and I were kind of the ones that started things. We had actually talked about doing some stuff with one another aside from Iced Earth back when we were both in Iced Earth. And so essentially when Freddie quit Iced Earth, he was on for another tour or two after me. He was on the first record that Stu did vocals on, and then they toured on that record, and then he just kind of was he was kind of had enough with it and wanted to do something else. And he's got a career. He's an engineer and things like that. So when he left Iced Earth, chatted, and he was like, let's start writing some stuff, and we both had ideas, and we kind of came together with our ideas, and through the wonder of the internet, we were able to share files and stuff like that and bounce ideas back and forth. And once we got several songs kind of where we wanted them, we approached Van about playing drums, because we knew that we wanted a drummer. I knew Van for a long time. We toured, did several tours with them with Iced Earth and Nevermore. And Van's an extremely,
he is amazing.
Yeah, he's an extremely chill guy too. You know what I mean? Just very funny and, relaxed, very talented. And besides his, drumming talents, he's also a graphic artist. And so obviously that brought another element to it. I mean, he did the graphic art, the graphic arts for the cover and everything.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. That's all his stuff. So he did Nevermore's logo and all those records. I mean, that's like his stuff. So,
wow.
Shit.
So that was, obviously another element that was like really cool. And he had just quit Nevermore. And, I said, man, we're going to give you some stuff and listen to it and see if you like it. And then we all got together at one point and, he was in. So then the three of us started doing stuff, and the stuff that Freddie and I already had, we gave it to Van. Van added a whole nother dimension, with the drums, and it was just cool, man. It was very organic, and just felt right, and like the stuff that we were putting out, it just had our own vibe. And I know a lot of people will put it in the Eister category. I think for the most part, because my vocals are on it, people go, hey, that sounds like Eister.
I was just about to say that.
You have a very distinctive sound, so of course.
Yeah, but if you listen to it, there's not a whole lot of that, galloping, that John's famous for, and stuff like that.
That's a great point.
We broke it up. There's quite a few little different styles and things like that within it. And I'm not to say that John doesn't have a diversity to his writing, but there are certain key things that you grab on, and it's iced earth. It's iced earth. And I think that with that, as far as our catalog keeps increasing and we keep doing records, I think people are going to say the same thing about Ashes, because they're going to get that there's that combination between whatever it is, my voice and Freddie's guitar playing and Van's drumming, and it's going to be Ashes, and that's a cool thing too. And I don't hate that people compare us to Iced Earth, because obviously I have a vested interest in Iced Earth. For several records, so I mean that's all good, man. I mean I don't have any problem with that at all, being in that same category. So I take it as a compliment, and I think we all do. So
right on. Who came up with the name Ashes of Aries?
Well, I did, and I kind of shot it past the guys, but we were kind of trying to figure out what direction we were going to go and what we were going to call ourselves and things like that, because we definitely had the band before we had the name of the band, but I thought of this thing, and the only I was like thinking we need to do some heavy but sympathetic, and this kind of thing we're trying to kind of get, so that like the yin and the yang kind of vibe, and that's kind of where I went with it. Of course, I Googled it and I found some other kids, and I don't know even what country they're from, had like something up on YouTube, and it was like a garage band name, and I was like, well,
I'm bigger. I'm Matt Barlow.
Yeah, I mean,
sorry, kids.
I was like, well, I guess they can try to sue me. But
get your lunch money together.
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't really worried, and I would hope that and I've made comments about it, and I hope that they're happy that they they had the idea first, I guess, But I just thought it was a cool thing, and the concept, and the thing that when I explained it to the guys, my concept was it can mean dual meanings. It can
or
either mean
triple meanings. It can mean we smash teenage bands.
Oh, come on!
Right. That's the hidden meaning. We don't want that to be to the forefront. But the main thing is that the Ashes of Aries can either mean the ashes that are left behind after Ares has gotten everyone on Earth to commit to war, and we've wiped ourselves out, or the flip of that is a time in Earth's history, future history, hopefully, where war has been eliminated, and those are the only thing left of Ares is the ashes, because he no longer exists. Because his soul can't exist, because he thrives off of war. Obviously, that's his power. Mm-hmm. So that's kind of the yin and the yang kind of idea, and we like to. I certainly in writing lyrics and stuff, I always like to mess with dual concepts. I like people to be able to think, well, it means this, but then it could mean this, and and kind of leave that question, or leave that the answer to you as a listener.
Hey, Matt, speaking about your lyrics and stuff, and power metal fans are historically, I've seen on the internet, like known for this. Have you had people like diving a little too deep into your lyrics, and you being like, yeah, that's cool, but maybe that's a little more deep than what I was even going with that?
Yeah, and I'm putting in a box all the time as for some reason they think Ashes of Aries is a Christian band or whatever. You know what I mean? I'm like, where are you? I mean, yes, I deal with concepts of heaven and hell all the I have, because again that is something that's interesting to me. I think that the mythology involved there, whether it be Christian, Greek, or other mythologies, is cool to me. And I'm not saying that, there's not a viable thing with Christianity. And, I'm not going down that road either. I'm not bashing anybody's religion. I feel absolutely, 100% that everybody has the right to practice whatever religion, as long as it's not encroaching upon my rights. But, it's just weird that people automatically go, oh, they're a Christian, man, because I use the word God, or whatever. But I don't like to leave anybody out. I like to look at all aspects of it, whether it be, evil, or the devil, or God, or whatever, because obviously you can't really have a devil without there being a God. And, as far as that mythos, the mythos of that. So I touch on all that kind of stuff, man. That's my wheelhouse right there. Yeah. I like it, and these will be reoccurring themes, so just stand by.
The internet is famous for making shit up, for bashing you, bashing whoever, bashing sure. John.
Sure.
Did you try and stay away from when you left Ice Earth? Because it seems like it was on great terms, but the internet made John out to be this big asshole, and you were, like the victim. And Iced Earth, pushed you out and stuff like that. I always wanted to get some clarity on that.
Well, here's the thing. I don't think that John made a business decision, and I don't fault anybody for that at all. We're talking about the first time. Well, here, we'll start with the first time. Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
So when we're doing Glorious Burden, obviously 9/11 affected almost everybody on the planet, especially people within the U.S. I was affected in a way that kind of made me step back and take a look at where I was in my life at this particular time. Okay, I'm 31 years old. Where am I in the big scope of things? And at that point, I wasn't getting paid by Iced Earth. Yes, I've gone and done some really cool tours and gotten paid, but I wasn't making a living, not by any stretch of the imagination. We'd entered into a new deal, or we were getting ready to enter into a new deal with SPV. And I basically went to John. I was like, man, I think right now is probably a good time for me to step out, because you've got a new deal now. I can go and do something else with my life. And at that point, I was looking at law enforcement. Mm-hmm. I wanted to go to school and go to, take some CJ classes and stuff like that, and kind of form a different path. Well, John had talked me into staying, and I did. And I was, kind of on a salary kind of a thing. It was not a lot, by any stretch. I guess it was better than I had ever gotten, but it wasn't great. So I was doing other work for John and things like that, and as well as singing. And we were doing Glorious Burden. Obviously, John was influenced. Again, 9/11 really influenced him for that record and stuff like that. And so I went in, cut the tracks for the record, and John had gone down to Florida to mix it with Jim. And then John came back home and said, look, man, really wasn't feeling the vibe of it, and I'm going to let you go. So, that's pretty much it. Wow. He made a call, and, I respected it. And actually that was fine, and it couldn't have been more perfect timing, because here's exactly what I did. I was like, okay, cool. Went home, talked to my wife. I said, now's the time. So I started putting in applications to places. Franklin, Indiana, PD. Put in an application. I tested. One of the greatest things I ever did was test there, because it was one of the hardest tests. Well, out of all the tests,
written or the physical test?
The written test.
Yeah.
One of the hardest tests that I took on any of the tests that I took in law enforcement. But it got me ready for all the other ones. Now I only made it to like the 12th spot. So, and they were only hiring so many. So I didn't get the gig, but I started putting in other places in Delaware, over here in Delaware and stuff. Anyway, long story short, after making several trips to Delaware and testing and doing physicals and all this other stuff, I'm in the academy 6 months later. So after getting fired from Iced Earth, I'm in the academy for Georgetown. So the timing couldn't have been better, man. It really couldn't have been, as far as me starting this career, and it just worked out. And then so I'm on the job for a couple of years, and since I'm on the road in 2004, and then John gets a hold of me through my wife, who is his sister, and basically starts saying, "Hey, I'd like to have you back, what have you." And
no, Matt, may I quickly interrupt you here for
Sure,
one quick? How did you feel when they brought in Tim for that short period of time?
Well, obviously, man, I'd spent pretty much my professional career with Eyster, so I'd be lying if I said my feelings weren't hurt a little bit.
Of course.
But, it is what it is, man. Looking back at it now, I go, it worked out really well. And now, fortunately, because of it, I think Tim and I have a pretty darn good relationship. We're not obviously he lives in Ohio and stuff like that, but we're not, but we respect one another professionally, and that's about as good as you can ask, man. I mean, that's that mutual respect. So that's a very cool thing.
You mentioned that you cut tracks for The Glorious Burden. So that means that they exist somewhere. We could technically see a reissue with Matt Barlow on vocals.
Yeah, but they're not going to be nearly they're not going to be nearly as good as what Tim.
I've seen you sing them live. You singing Declaration Day live. Oh man, at the Festivals of the Wicked DVD. Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah, but I'm singing it the way Tim sang it, and what was on the record was not that way. Okay, so I took inspiration from Tim as well as I needed to sing it like it was on the record. Or do it in my best ability to sing it that way. And that's Tim, man. I wouldn't want it reissued, man, because Tim did a phenomenal job on it. And I got to say, I still got to respect the heck out of him, man. He was singing songs that were some of them were my lyrics, like, Attila and Waterloo. That stuff, those were my lyrics. And Tim sang them and did a phenomenal job on them. And that was really cool. So, I hope that they don't ever try to reissue any of the stuff, and hopefully those tracks are growing. I've got some CDs with the stuff, but it's demoed up, and it's not good, and it won't ever see the light of day where I'm.
Yeah, from a fan perspective, it would just be cool to hear, sort of like when you get all the bootlegs from the Grateful Dead and things like that. Just to hear it. Obviously, the finished product is probably going to be the better thing, but
Okay, so Matt, you started to say before I interrupted you that your John had reached out to your wife, his sister.
Right. In 2007, and then and then we're doing shows in 2008, and then we did that for a couple of years, and we did work around my schedule for the most part, but it got to a point where the music industry, man, is just brutal right now, and it has been for several years, and guys just cannot make money off of recording records.
It sounds like you saw the writing on the wall, Matt.
Well, I guess I did, but John. And here's the thing. I think we probably did, and we talked to John about this, and I was like, man, are you sure? When he called and wanted me back to do the record and a tour and stuff like that, I was like, man, are you sure? And Heather and I both were really, hey, man, are you sure you want this? And he was sure. But after a couple years, it became, painfully evident that Iced Earth could not make it as a band, and John couldn't make a living off of it without touring heavy, really heavily. And that just, it just wasn't something that I could do, man. He asked me, said, he wanted me on full time. And I said, man, I can't do it. And that's basically it. So I stepped out and Stu came in, man. And it's been doing really well for them, I think.
Do you think that the instability of the band's lineup has hurt Iced Earth over the years? I was going back and counting, and there's been, just vocalists alone, there's been 5 vocalists since the first album. From a fan perspective, do you think that hurts the band?
Maybe. I don't know. I really don't. I don't know if it's hurt or not. Because the thing is that I think that the fans have progressively, gotten big. I think there are more Iced Earth fans now than there were back then. I think, I don't know that for sure to be sure, but I think that there probably are, and probably a lot of that has to do with all the touring that they're doing. Mm-hmm. It's something that we probably should have done a lot more of when I was in the band and when I was, when we were solidly in there, but we didn't, because I think probably one of the things is that the motivation wasn't there. Certainly not for John, because John was making money off the records, to a degree, and also he was also making money in his defense. He was making money on doing stuff with Hansi, with Demons and Wizards and stuff like that. So John was happy and content with doing this and not doing this, but obviously for a guy that was more of a paid musician type guy to begin with, it would have been better for me to be on the road all the time, but I wasn't, so I don't know, man. It's the industry, just the way it changes. If obviously that's not where I'm at right now. I'm not going to be out there on the road busting my hump at 45 years old, doing that all the time. Ashes of Aries is going to get out there, and we're going to do, as many shows as we can, but we're not going to be touring for 6-9 months out of the year. It's just not going to happen.
And Matt, that leads me into my next question. Ashes of Aries. You guys' last album came out, what, two years ago now?
2013.
Yeah. Can we expect anything new coming, buddy?
Yeah, man, we're working on it. We're writing. We're still writing. Obviously, there have been some things going on with Freddie's moved from New Hampshire back down to Arizona, so he's kind of had a big move there with a job and all that. Van's got stuff going on with Ghost Ship Octavius, which is his another band that he's involved with. So we still got stuff going on. We still got stuff bouncing around, but we are currently writing and getting our stuff, all of our stuff in one sock. So
does the landscape of music now, Matt, change how you move forward in terms of, hey, maybe you could do like a 3-track small release it online, or 4, whatever. Does that change your going forward?
Yeah, that is a good point, and that may be something that we consider in the future. That's not a bad idea. We have actually thought of doing that kind of stuff. Doing smaller releases and here and there, because like you said, it is a different landscape altogether.
Matt, I hear your kids in the background. I have my daughter now. Your kids and my daughter may never even buy an album again. Physically, they may just buy tracks here and there.
Yeah, and that's kind of sad, man, because I still like to and I know even with like movies and stuff like that. I know that you can download movies to own now and all. Man, there's something about that physical, getting it. Even if you order it from Amazon and it comes, 2 days later, just having that physical thing there, to see and open it up and look at it and go, what, I own this. And it seems like we are getting away from that as society. It's like, we'll download everything. Everything's an app. Everything's downloadable, and it just, there's something, I don't know, something kind of sterile about that, don't you think?
Yeah, we're both big vinyl fans, so we're always trying to push the vinyl initiative.
Right, the vinyl revolution.
Exactly. So,
what do you think about the vinyl revolution? Do you think it's a fad?
I don't know, man. The thing is, I think, and I probably should put my money where my mouth is and buy a turntable. I've got several friends that actually do have turntables, and they're getting into vinyl, and it's not just metal; it's other forms of vinyl, and they say it is having the best of both worlds, because they buy a turntable and then they can convert that stuff into MP3s if they want to, or whatever. But but that vinyl still just does have that rich, really rich sound. So
definitely, yeah. I've also been getting into high definition digital audio so that I can sort of have the best of both worlds, because I like to have the vinyl at home where I can look at the artwork and spin the vinyl, but at the same time I like to have the portability of digital. And recently I've come to find out just how much of the sound you actually lose when you're listening to an MP3 as opposed to like a lossless rip from a CD or something like that.
Right.
And so I've been trying to, convert all my CDs into these FLAC files for my digital portability. Yet at the same time, I'm also building up my vinyl collection so that I can have the cozy, fuzzy, warm feelings that I used to get when I was younger.
Yeah, and I think that's a really important thing that some people, I'm not sure if the casual listener really cares or not, but I think that the folks that like to go and put the full headphones on, and everybody. That's the whole thing now. Everybody's with the Beats, and they're really awesome headphones. But hey man, plug it into something that you can really enjoy. I mean, it's being lost in MP3s. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Plug those awesome headphones into something that it actually produces a really beautiful sound. And that was one of the things that I really, when Nuclear Blast released like the streaming stuff and the record and released, and people were listening to it in MP3 format, man, and they're like, oh, it sounds really bassy, and that was our biggest thing. It's really bassy. It sounds really bassy. I was like, but here's the thing, and here's my argument. Please get it on CD. And then crank it up like you're listening to a metal record, man. And it's amazing how you get that total separation. It was because the thing is, the way it was recorded and the way it was mastered so that it should be heard at heavy metal volumes. You know what I mean?
George had that experience with Lossless File a couple weeks back.
Yeah, when you're listening to an MP3, the high end, it really gets cut. It's sort of like a telephone. It kind of takes the highs and the lows and just cuts everything and leaves everything in the middle.
Yep.
And so I was in the car playing something, and I had it up at a certain level, and I was like, boy, that really sounds kind of muddy. And I was like, wait a minute, I've got Tidal now, this lossless, it's like Spotify, but for lossless audio. Mm-hmm. And so I put on the same album there, and it was just a world of difference. It was so much clearer.
Right.
That muddiness just went away.
Yeah, and it's amazing, and that's the only thing that I don't like. I mean, I think it's a good thing to sample basically how music, whether the song structure, kind of what's there, but don't put all your faith in MP3, and don't just cheat and download the free music because it's on MP3. If you really want to enjoy it, I think on that level you really need to buy it and get that full feeling, man. I mean, that's where it's at. You cannot cram that much information into an MP3 and have it sound really good. You can't do it.
Nope.
Matt, I got two more, then we'll let you go here. I wanted to ask you, when you started Ashes of Aries, was it a concern for you trying to maybe convince fans to get them on board with you to where they don't always view you as Iced Earth Matt Barlow, that you're, this is something new? Or are you fine when fans think of your name? They think of Iced Earth, and then you mentioned earlier that they're always comparing you to that.
Right. No, man, dude, I'm not one of those guys that's going to deny my past or like I said, I'm very open as far as giving John credit for giving me a shot. You know what I mean? I mean, I know partly the reason that I am where I am is because of John, and I'll totally give credit to Iced Earth for that. And I'm not like one of those deniers, and I don't go, oh, it's all me and this is me. Have I tried to do some different things as far as, because I have more creative control. Obviously with Ashes of Aries, I've definitely tried to do more in different things. I mean, I'm not trying to lose my identity at all, but I'm trying to, expound upon it.
You ever tried and do something extremely different from what you do?
Well, no, but that may be in the future. that may be in the near future.
How awesome.
I'm not giving anything away, but
he's not giving anything away. But how awesome would it be, George? Like Matt Barlow, like a pure thrash album, or like he even pulls out death vocals or something. Think about death vocals with his clean singing. Oh.
Well, if there's any death vocals, I'm probably going to leave that to Freddie or Van, because those are both guys that can do death vocals.
Save your voice. We don't want you hurting that.
Yeah, I mean, but there's always that thing. There's that beautiful part, and I would definitely say that expect to hear our musical influences probably in the next record. We'll try to expound upon things. I think the three of us in our mind, that's what we want to do. That's what we want to keep pushing the envelope. You know what I mean? As long as people will listen to us and go, "Hey, man, I like you guys and all that, but that death metal shit, that's got to go." And that's fine. But we want to keep pushing ourselves and doing different things, and there's nothing wrong with that. I don't think there's anything wrong with that.
You should see the both of us while you were talking. We were both sort of like wiggling in our chairs excitedly going, yes, we can't wait to hear this.
Yes, we're giving like fucking power fists. Yes.
Cool,
You know,
cool.
whatever you end up doing. I mean,
Matt, just keep it up, brother.
yeah. You know, when I heard Ashes of Aries, the first album, it just blew me away. And I was listening to it again this morning, and it's just pretty damn amazing.
Yeah.
So good job.
Matt, George and I have heard thousands upon thousands of albums. George has a decade on me, but your voice is one of the best in the whole metal scene. So keep it up, brother.
Well, thanks, guys. Appreciate it. Yeah, kind of getting back to this record, and you guys talking about it, I really appreciate, and I've said this a couple different times, but I really appreciate the folks that have picked up the record, and especially the ones that have said, "Look, I keep going back to it," because to me that's the important thing. There have been records that I've heard in my life that I listened to it like a couple times, and then that's like the last I listened to it. Or occasionally I'll go back and I'll listen to one or two tracks or whatever. But if this record is a grower, and it's one of those things where people listen to it once and then they listen to it a second time and then they listen to it a third, and they keep listening to like the nuances of it and appreciating it more, man, that to me that's the best thing that there can ever be.
Do you care how fans listen now? Do you want them to buy it? Of course you want them to buy it, but do you care if they're on Spotify streaming it, if they're on YouTube watching it?
I would just like people to understand that obviously the more support we get financially,
of course,
for the record company, because we're never getting paid for this. We're never getting anything more than we got for doing the record. I understand that. I know that. There's just never gonna, because that's the way the industry is, man. And they've got to make back their money. And so, but by them making back their money, they'll sign us for another record. You know what I mean? And that's what people need to understand. If that doesn't happen, then we're going to be on our own. We're going to be doing stuff, and we will. We would take care of it ourselves, and we'll keep doing stuff no matter what it takes. But that financial help is what makes us be able to get into a studio and have pay a really good guy to turn knobs for us and tell us where we're screwing up and how to make these songs sound better. Those guys need to get paid. We don't necessarily, as the writers and the musicians and the guys that this is our baby, we don't need to get paid, man. That's fine. We're not doing this but we do have to pay people to produce this stuff, because we're not the guys that are the gearhead guys that on the weekends write music. We're musicians, and this is what we do. We can conceptualize and we can write and we can put these songs together, but we can't make a record. So those guys need to get paid, and for us to do that, we need to have a budget, and for us to have a budget, we need to have a deal, and for us to have a deal, we need to have people that are buying records. You know what I mean? So it's just one of those deals. It's just the brutal truth of the industry, and this record that we made is probably with the smallest budget of any record that I've ever been on.
Wow.
That every single record, this is the smallest budget.
Doesn't sound like it. And I watched, I woke up with my 9-month-old and I fed her today. Even on YouTube, all your guys' videos has like 300,000 hits, 400,000 hits. People are watching it. People are listening to it.
Yeah, and that's cool. Yeah, that's just me and my wife watching them over and over again.
You guys are just putting on constant repeat. See, the thing is,
we put in the time. Okay, we're going to spend an hour inflating our numbers.
Matt, you will be happy to know my wife today. I woke up at 8:00. I gave my baby a bottle. My wife comes in to me. She goes, "It's too early for that. How do you listen to that?" I said, "Babe, it's never too early for metal. I have a newborn baby to start training. She needs to listen to this." And Matt, I have even at work in my cruiser, I'm blaring your guys' stuff. I'm supporting you 24/7, brother.
Right on, man. I appreciate that. I really do.
All right, well, I think we're about ready to wrap this up. We want to thank Matt Barlow for talking to us today. Do you have anything else you wanted to say before we go?
Well, again, I'd just like to really thank everybody for their support, man. For our first record, Ashes of Aries, has done. Yeah, I think it's done really well. And the more we keep going out on the road and we keep doing these tours, we're definitely planning something coming up here in the spring or early summer, so everybody kind of their eyes and ears open for that. And, just can't thank you enough for the support and just keep listening.
All right. Thanks a lot. We'll talk to you next time. All right. That was our interview with Matt Barlow of Ashes of Aries, formerly of Iced Earth. Hope you enjoyed it. We had a blast talking to him.
We had a blast talking to him.
And I have to stop you both and just tell you how fine a job you did. I really enjoyed listening to it. Like, I can't tell you enough. First of all, you are my friends now, so there's that, but I don't judge it by that. When I was listening to it, and if I had known that interview existed, if I saw it listed on Blabbermouth, I would have gone and listened, and I would have walked away thinking, that was awesome, because it sounds like you guys are just having a nice conversation. You asked good probing questions, but you also were both funny and things. And what a nice guy.
Yeah, he was.
Super cool dude. So anyway, I tip my hat to both of you. I think that was a great interview.
Thank you.
And the nice thing about it is I think he's in a place in his life now where, he doesn't shy away and he's proud of what he did before, but I think he can answer these questions now without...
Honestly.
Yeah, he can answer them honestly without worrying about, hey, I'm going to practice tomorrow,
He's got the best of both worlds, really, because he gets to do this whole rock star thing. And, and he's still got plenty of fans out there, and he can do that he loves. But he's also got this job that he really loves that's, putting the food on the table and giving him some stability and allowing him to do this. So, that's great.
Yeah, what I took away from this interview probably the most is, we spent multiple episodes talking about the music industry now, and Jay knows it better than, of course, you and I do, George. Matt, early on, the parents had probably seen the writing on the wall and just had to realize, hey, I have a family. This ain't,
Got to be responsible.
I think he hit the nail on the head. You at least for an independent metal band, you cannot be successful and even come close to paying your bills unless you do rather extensive, life-ruining tours, frankly. Yep. You know what I mean? And so I respect him because I think that's kind of who I am too. I mean, I don't anticipate my band doing a big long tours at all. And also, it's just like this weird. It was a good snapshot from a true insider about the state of the industry now.
Yep.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, I had written to George early in the week, and he had asked me was there any questions that he'd like me to sneak in, and I mentioned a couple, and one was out of true embarrassing interest. I was like, can I ask him about the money thing? I'd like to know if he made money in Iced Earth. But I knew that was kind of, a rough question.
But see, the thing is, where George has, morals and stuff like that, I mean, I don't care because as a fan, I want to know these things.
But he offered that up without even asking.
He did. He did.
But he did, which is what made it great. But I also have to mention George's response to that. He sent me the nicest email in response. He's like, and we were talking about other things too. And then he got down to the questions part. And he said, yeah, the first question I'll try to ask him. The second question, and he wrote, and I can't even say it nearly as good as he wrote it, but he wrote, yeah.
That's exactly how I meant it. I was like, yeah, maybe not the second one.
But I love that he did bring it up because I was actually really truly interested and I was
I'm sorry.
He never really made any money in Iced Earth.
I'm great that he answered it too because as an outsider looking in, you think Iced Earth at that time, you think, man, they're one of the biggest American metal bands. They have to be.
Yeah.
They have to be making money.
You know what it is? I do have some insight, and it's that and this happens in every major band. You'll hear about it if you read enough interviews and stories, and it's that, okay, John kind of owns the property. There's no question about that.
Right.
But John also writes the songs, and the songwriter gets publishing. And the publishing, that's where the money is. If you're going to make any money off your songs, it's publishing. So,
oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. So as a matter of example, the lopsided paychecks in Metallica for the Black Album are lopsided, believe me, whoever, and I think it was probably Kirk and James wrote Enter Sandman. Mm-hmm. They made way more money that year than the other guys did.
I'm surprised that, you would think Lars would be like, I get a songwriting credit, fuckers, because he's Lars.
Does he have a credit on that one? I wonder. But
I don't know. I'd have to go look. I would have thought it was more of a Lennon-McCartney kind of thing with like Hetfield, Ulrich. Yeah. But, Kirk's got to get some piece of that action, for his lead work and stuff. Drummers don't usually because they don't consider it part of the songwriting, which, it drives the song. I should think if you wrote your drum part, you ought to get a songwriting credit.
Well, we've agreed in our band that if we ever get to publishing, we're just going to put all three of our names on the publishing.
That's the, that's the cool thing to do. And that helps, ease any tensions in that regard, because a lot of bands do that. There's the songwriter who gets the publishing. Everybody else is basically just hired guns.
Yeah, kind of. I mean, they get paid for their performances, and they all split the tour money and the T-shirt money and all that shit. But, actually, Buke, you'd be pleased to know that Michael Ockerfeldt is, I don't know how famous he is for it, but he splits the publishing money with the guys in the band so they can all make a living.
That's why Opeth is the greatest band to ever walk this earth.
You know what?
Beg to differ.
Here's what I'm going to get a little notebook. And every time you say the Opeth is, and I mean over the months, because I intend to do this with you guys.
Buke did 16 Opeth drops in 3 episodes.
It's gonna be awesome, man. And I'll send you for Christmas.
And pay attention to how many times he's seen the band.
Jay, can I also say this? Even though we sung your praises at the start, I'm going to sing it again. Reason why I like having you on this podcast now, joining us again, and hopefully for going forward, you add that insight from the band perspective that George and I can never. George knows a YouTube star, but I have no experience doing shows. I
don't know anything about the music business.
Yeah,
I do.
Yeah,
no. You know what we're saying from the artist's point of view.
Yes.
So Jay adds that we don't know. So that's why this interview, I'm glad that, he really liked it.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm not going to do this now, but I do want to. I'm making a mental bookmark here that eventually I would very much like to talk about George's YouTube music. You turned me on some of it.
Well, I told you about those 2 episodes, didn't I? The retrospective episodes.
No.
Yeah, there's 2 episodes. It's between like 9 and 10 or 10 and 11. If you go back, it's called the George Retrospective Part 1 and Part 2. And
okay, cool.
I talk about a bunch of the stuff. I play a bunch of really bad music. Really bad. The stuff I sent you the other day, that was me picking out the stuff that was, maybe not as horrible.
But Jay, this is bad.
Yeah. See, he's not even going to sugarcoat it. He's like, man, your shit's bad.
He's like a brother to me, but it's bad.
But I start at the beginning with the earliest recordings that I'm like, yeah, this is bad because this is out of key, or this is just bad because it's bad, and I work my way through the various like demos that I did, and then towards the end, I've got some stuff with some of these other guys singing, and it's a little better. But
George went industrial for a period of time.
Hey man, late '90s, it's what you did, man. Ministry, Nine Inch Nails, KMFDM.
What he sent me too, and I liked what he sent me. But I just love that you jumped in there, Buke, and you acted as his second there first, which was no, Jay, just trust me. This is Buke talking. It is bad.
It is horrible.
I'll be the first to admit it.
Hey, I've make a lot of really bad skeletons in my closet, and I probably owe you some shares. So I'll send you some stuff that will make you feel a little better about yourself.
Right on. All right. Well, why don't we get into some news?
By the way, a lot happened this week, didn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, some of this stuff is like a week or 2 old, but it's all fairly recent.
Yeah. I felt like I stopped myself. There was stuff this morning I wanted to send you and say stuff, which maybe I'll bring some of it up. But anyway.
Yeah, I didn't look today. I looked like last night and made a few updates, but nothing today.
I've got one that ruins my top 3, but or maybe makes my top 3 better. We'll see.
Yeah. All right. Well, the first item, Warbringer, who of course recently said that they are continuing, which is great news. They're the latest band to be dropped from a show at a Disney property.
Like Machine Head.
Yes, if you remember a year or 2 ago, Machine Head, there was a big deal because they got dropped from a show. I think it was like a House of Blues or something.
Yeah.
And now Warbringer, Warbringer, the name it's not obscene or anything like that. I really don't understand why they would get dropped.
It's so weird. And also, by the way, I don't know if Disney owns all of them, but it is House of Blues. That you're right about that. They that's where they got dropped from. I don't know if Disney owns all the House of Blues. Maybe they do, but it's like that one in Anaheim that they keep dropping people out of.
Yeah.
And yeah, what the fuck, dude?
I don't know. That's pretty messed up.
And we met the guys from Warbringer.
Yeah, John Keeble.
John Keeble is a cool ass dude.
Yes, he is.
Nothing about them is evil or inciting violence or anything.
Nah, they're just good guys.
They're just good guys.
Walt was a Nazi, man. You know what I mean? So,
well, honestly, it's almost like you want to get dropped by Disney because, okay, you miss one show, but all the press that you get about it is free publicity.
Agreed.
So
yeah, that
just
would
be like,
cool.
fuck you, go ahead and drop us. We'll just put it in the news, and that's free publicity.
And Jay, if you've never checked them out, Warbringer is that classic thrash. These guys are awesome. Give them a listen. They're one of our favorites.
I do know them. I don't have their whole discography or anything like that, but I do know them. And I haven't run any interviews about them, so I don't know what they're like or anything like that as guys. But I mean, I take your word on it.
The lead singer is a diehard video game player, and before the show, the hours leading up to the show, sat there and played StarCraft for a couple hours.
Oh, awesome, dude! Was he? Do they live near you, or are you just?
No.
They
were on
tour.
They were on tour.
Yeah,
they came through town. Yeah, we've got a video interview with John up on YouTube. I can send you the link.
Please do. Yeah, they're awesome. Yeah, that's a cool band, and yeah, that's weird. Disney makes the weirdest decisions in general. I mean,
it's funny because I'm actually going there next weekend.
I'll be there in a month.
Yeah.
Oh,
next weekend I'll be in Orlando, and that's where our next news event actually takes place. Apparently, Vital Remains played a show at the Haven in Orlando. Did you guys see the video for this?
No,
I just read this story and saw what happened.
So Vital Remains, they're a big satanic death metal band. Glenn Benton from Deicide fronted the band for a little while. So it's like akin to Deicide. They were playing at a show at a place called the Haven, and this lady that owns the Haven is a person of religious persuasion, and she had a Jesus on the cross,
a crucifix of the stage,
hanging over the stage. And the singer for Vital Remains just happened to notice this and pulled it down off of the rafter that it was hanging on. And he's like, hey, I'm not going to have this up here while we're singing songs about Satan. And the crowd, ate it up and loved it. But the lady who owns the club started yelling, and she climbed up on stage and she's like, give me that back, put that back. And he's like, look, you can take it, you can put it away, we're
not going to break it.
We're not going to break it. You can have it back. That's fine. You can put it back up later, but we're not having this up here while we're singing songs about Satan.
Wow.
And he was like, he was, relatively decent about it. But then she started she got up on stage and was yelling at him and saying stuff. And so he's like, all right. And they in the crowd started chanting fuck Jesus, or something like that. I'd have to watch it again. It was definitely blasphemous.
Yeah. That gets the point across.
And yeah, it was just, the drums are going boom, 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 boom. And they're playing, like a choppy guitar thing. Fuck Jesus, fuck Jesus. I was like, okay. Oof. And towards the end of the video, you can hear somebody in the audience going, awkward. So that was interesting.
I haven't seen this yet. I got to look at this. That's too much.
Yeah, just look up Vital Remains on YouTube. Vital Remains, The Haven.
Oh, that's awesome. Okay, very cool. That's a cool story. I'm sorry. It's just metal people are so quick to get into that. You know what I mean?
Aren't they?
Whatever idol you got, let's smash it.
In other ridiculous metal news, apparently Dave Brocky's father is suing Gwar.
Yeah, what a dick.
What a dick. It sounds like he's a real deadbeat of a dad. Yeah, when he died, the band were like, hey, here's Dave. And he didn't want anything to do with handling the remains or setting up any sort of viewings or memorials or anything. So sounds like he didn't really give a shit.
Yeah.
And then the lawyers came along and he's like, I want money.
Yep.
And so it's unfortunate. Why you got to do this kind of shit? It's money. That's why.
It's unfortunate when anybody dies and it becomes a money issue.
Yeah.
Grandparents, parents. It's a shame. Whenever you hear stories like this, it's just such a shame that to fucking fight over money and stuff like this.
And Gwar, despite what you might think of them, they issued a pretty classy response. And they were like, we don't know why he's doing this.
Our lawyers made stuff available.
Everything that he's asking for in terms of personal items and ashes and things like that, they've all been available through our lawyers for weeks, which he hasn't bothered to do anything about. And in terms of missing royalties and things like that, we've got all the paperwork documented. All the I's are dotted, the T's are crossed. You can, all that information is available from our lawyers.
The thing I loved at the end of that, and I read this statement, and the thing I loved, and I thought this was so classy and such a also kind of cool fuck you to the guy, which was, if the money, there was some sort of fund set up, and I didn't catch where what.
Oh, right, yeah, it was a fund for a statue of Dave.
Is that what it was?
Yeah, a statue of Dave at the cemetery where like I guess some of the remains, the ashes are.
Right. Yeah, and if they, it's what they said was if this does become contested or remains contested, we're just giving the fucking money back.
Yeah.
And I thought that was a great answer to this whole thing.
Be like, yeah, this money isn't for you. This is for Dave.
Yeah.
And if it's not going to be used for that, then it's going back to the people that gave it.
Yeah. If you're going to contest it, then it's not even going to exist anymore. And I just thought that was cool. Because I think you guys might know better than me because you maybe know more about the Richmond scene, but I'm under the impression like a bunch of the Guar guys live together.
Yeah.
Like I think they have like a compound of sorts. It might just be a house, but I mean.
Yeah. Totally.
Yeah, so I think they're a tight unit, you know?
Yeah, definitely.
That's what happens when you're a bunch of, close guys like Guar are. Guar was never that huge band, but they seemed like they were always working on stuff in the background, different costumes, sets, stuff like that.
I think they make a living. I think they make a living too, honestly. Because
I think they honestly do too, because, Guar is one of those bands, we said this around the Barbecue episode, that fans who aren't even metalheads had heard of their show and would always go check it out.
Yeah.
Yeah. And they filled the place, and I think they did pretty well. And they made one mention too how David had been paid in advance for a tour. That was some of the money that was in question.
The Australian tour, yeah.
Oh, it was in Australia. I didn't know that. Yeah. Well, how sad. I don't know what to say about stuff like that. I mean, I've seen that happen in the least likely of families,
Yeah.
like families who seem to get along really well and that kind of thing. So I was really sorry to hear that. And his dad must be a real prick.
It must be.
Yeah, there you go.
So this next news item was sent to me by Jay. You want to tackle this one, Jay?
Speak about another prick.
How dare you, sir?
Wait, are you talking about me? Son of a bitch.
No, this next guy, looking at our news, this guy, from what I've heard, is a prick.
He is a prick. He is. And I knew you were talking about him. He's a famous prick. But I'll tell you something else. The talent in this man's little finger is so large, he's one of the people I forgive for being a prick. And it's Richie Blackmore. Mm-hmm. And there's a rumor, actually, by way of Joe Lynn Turner himself, who says that Richie's going to come back and do some rock and roll stuff. And so I was like excited about this just because Richie hasn't done anything but the Blackmore's Night stuff.
At Renaissance festivals and stuff.
Yeah, but he doesn't do anything with his Stratocaster, you know what I mean? And to me, he's such an interesting and great guitarist. So I would love to see that happen.
I want to see. I'm sorry to interrupt you, Jay. I want to see Rainbow back again. I want to see fucking Rainbow again.
Well, that's what this would be. Joe and Turner was in Rainbow.
That's what I want to see.
I want to see Purple, man. I want to see him with Ian Gillan.
Me too. But
I mean, if it was going to be Rainbow, it needs to be Dio, and that's not happening. So
let's take him up.
Mm.
Well, all we need is a Ouija board and a microphone, man. We're good.
He'd find a way.
So, but anyway, if nothing else, even be it Rainbow, be it Deep Purple, be it whatever, I was just glad. This is the first time in a while I've heard somebody who seems to know say Richie's thinking about plugging his amplifier in again, and that's cool because the Blackmore's Night stuff is all fine and well, but Richie's a great lead guitarist. He's totally a heavy rock guy. He always used the term heavy rock, meaning I like heavy music. I would love to see him come back and do some more stuff because I find him terribly interesting guitar player and entertaining. And I agree with you. Him with Deep Purple and Ian Gillan, Richie Blackmore, Rainbow with Ryan James Dio, Richie Blackmore. You got yourself an afternoon right there, man.
Last time they all split up and came back together for a reunion, we got Perfect Strangers.
I got to fix a wrong, and that was that when we did our best covers in the last episode. I misspoke and said Bruce was singing on Sabbath, Bloody Sabbath, Bruce Dickinson.
Yeah.
And I was able to write that offline by sending it to you, but what I was talking about was Bruce singing Perfect Strangers with Dream Theater.
And that was awesome.
Right. I mean, it's just so good. But anyway, yeah, that's a great record, Perfect Strangers.
Yeah. Though if they did get back together again for yet another reunion, no John Lord, so that would be a bummer.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I'd forgotten about that. Isn't that funny? I'd totally forgotten John Lord died in the last couple of years.
Yep. Yeah,
it was a shame. He was one of those. He was one of the guys in rock that really did kind of look like an old man. You know what I mean? Like he
did.
He looked like more like a college professor by the time he died than he did.
Yeah.
So anyway, Richie may be coming back. Here's
right on. This next one you sent me as well. You want to talk about that one?
Well, yeah. In Solitude broke up, and if you read their statement, I think it's largely because they couldn't make a living. That's the way I read it.
Yeah.
And I was sorry to hear it because they're a pretty good band. And in particular, I thought their last record was really cool.
Yeah. More of that
Sister was
retro, throwback metal.
You know what it reminded me of was the very first Merciful Fate record, which is either called Nuns Have No Fun or A Corpse Without Soul, depending on what pricing you have.
Right.
And I love that record. I love all the Merciful Fate records. But anyway, that record to me, Sister by In Solitude, is more like Ghost than Ghost actually managed to be, at least on the second record. Anyway, so I'm sorry to see these guys go.
Yeah.
This is one of the bands I saw a lot of press for, but I've still never managed to listen to yet.
Really?
Yeah. I would see them on the covers of magazines or in, all over the internet. I just never listened to them yet.
I think you'd dig them, Buke. The first two are a little more metal per se, but and then the last one is this album called Sister, and it's like I say, it's kind of a Ghost meets Blair's the Cults meets Merciful Fate, kind of 1981 type deal. Mm-hmm. It's good, and it's got a really fucking killer spooky cover. I like it. I won't mourn them too much, but it seemed like they were stepping onto this cool, interesting path that I'm sorry to see that they're stepping off it. There we go.
Definitely.
So another one bites the dust.
This next item kind of made me laugh a little bit, but at the same time, it shouldn't happen. So apparently, after a show in Alberta, Canada, Marilyn Manson was hanging out at a Denny's, and he was like, talking with fans, signing autographs, being uncharacteristically nice. I shouldn't say uncharacteristically nice, uncharacteristically normal. I can't judge whether he's a nice guy or not because I don't know him personally. But sounded like, he was just being cool with a bunch of fans, and some guy came up and punched him in the nose.
I only read the headline, but that was it, huh? Just a random stranger came up and jacked him?
Yeah, he just walked up, in front of him and just punched him in the nose and ran away. And now there was another headline that said that Manson wanted to sue the guy or prosecute him or something.
Sure.
And I don't know. It's like when you read the first headline, after reading the guts of the article, you can almost feel a little, sorry for Marilyn Manson that stupid
if he
thing
ordered
happened.
moons over my hammy, he just deserved to get punched in the face.
Dude, I love moons over my hammy. Shut up.
Okay, you know what, Buke? I'm starting two pieces of paper now. One is every time you bring up Opeth, and the other one is you bring over full moons over my hammy. That's it. I mean, God, you never shut up about that. No.
Yeah, you never shut up about that breakfast.
Well, hey, but can I just say there's at least a shade, if I was Manson, there's at least a shade of the whole dime bag thing in this, that as a public persona, you're out there and somebody comes up and does something violent to you that you did not see coming. And so that's kind of fucked up.
Yeah, it's just not cool,
So, wow.
Be like everybody else and just flame him online.
Yeah, that's good thinking. Yeah, that's too bad. And I also like to know that he was in a fucking Denny's, by the way. I mean,
I know. I was thinking that too. I was like, wow, Marilyn Manson, so human, eats Denny's like the rest of us.
We're all Super Christ Danny Starsy. They should put that in a commercial.
You ever seen Manson live? The one time I saw him, it was with George.
We saw him twice.
Okay. The second time we saw him,
that was with Slayer.
Yeah. Was that when he looked like he weighed 350 pounds?
He was
constantly sucking down air or oxygen.
Well, I think the oxygen thing was part of the show.
I didn't know.
Because he has all these, he was in a doctor.
He looked like the Penguin.
But he was looking a little puffy.
Oh no, he gained some weight.
Yeah,
I think he's lost some of it again. I only saw them once, and I saw them on the Hollywood tour, and they actually played on Ozfest that tour, and it was great. They were actually great. That was when they were still.
I think that was the first time we saw them.
Oh, he had this big. This may jog your memory. He had a big this outfit on, and during this one song, he went way, way, way up in the air, and the skirt of this outfit went all the way down to the stage.
Is it kind of like a spider or something?
No, that's a different thing. This one was more like he was literally on a cherry picker sort of thing.
Yeah, I remember that. Yep. That was the Freak Boy show.
Yes,
that was the Freak Boy show.
Yes.
What's the Freak Boys?
There was this. We were at this show. It was Ozfest, I guess, and we were out in the lawn, towards the back of the lawn. Because it'd been a rough day and it was less sparse there.
No, be honest. You don't do well at festivals.
I don't. Being outside is just horrible. But anyway.
Being outside is horrible.
George, I love George. He's my concert buddy. But festivals starting at 9 or 10, by the main stage time, George is get out of my way. I need to rest these feet.
Oh, sure.
Oh,
no, I get like that too, to be honest with you. But you've never seen anything more metal than being outside, whatever you just said about being outside, that was beautiful.
Being outside is horrible. The sun, it burns me. But Gollum.
Yeah, you're Gollum. Yeah, you're Gollum.
But anyway, so we're at the back of the lawn, and the people back there are sparse. And so we look off to the right, and there's this like Hot Topic kid,
Chubby, 500 straps hanging off of his black baggy pants.
Yeah, like super baggy shorts that they're like so long they're not almost shorts, And he's got his shirt off, and I think he had like little dreads, and he was like flagellating himself
with his hands.
And he was just like beating himself around the back and chest and face and everything, and just like in this like ecstasy,
like you do.
And we were just like, okay.
Yeah.
And
in that moment, he was having the time of his life.
Yeah. And so we
short, sweet life.
We just dubbed him Freak Boy, and we've mentioned him before on here.
I promise you that whenever you say Hot Topic Kid, that's what I'll picture from now on, so you don't have to follow up anymore. Just say Hot Topic Kid, and I'll be like, hold on, got it.
Yeah, got it. There it is.
Go. Yeah, well, that sounds lovely. Was that, do you think that was Ozfest then?
Yes, it was.
Yeah.
Because that was the first time Sabbath played after the reunion, too. So that was a cool tour.
All right, so the next item has me excited, and I think it does you as well. Hank Sherman and Michael Denner of Merciful Fate are set to release an EP together called Satan's Tomb.
Super excited, dude. Super excited. Let me just say, and I haven't really said it yet on this podcast, either of them, that to me, I could make an argument for the Merciful Fate, Melissa, and Don't Break the Oath being two of the greatest metal records ever made. I've listened to both 1,000 times.
I can second that.
Easy in my top 10, and probably in my top 5. And anyway, and I think these two are a big part of that.
Yep.
And so I don't know if you've seen, but on YouTube they've been hanging out together. First of all, Michael Denner, I think it is, owns a record shop in Copenhagen now, and people go in there all the time just to buy Merciful Fate records, and they've been getting together, and they've made these videos online of YouTube of them just sitting in one of their houses playing the old Merciful Fate songs. And for the uninitiated, it's boring. I sat and watched them all from start to finish.
Nice.
Just to watch them do it again. So I'm totally psyched about this.
Well, I don't know if this is going to be an instrumental thing or if they're going to have like somebody singing on it. If they do, I really hope they get a good singer, because do you remember when King Diamond left and they did Fate?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I do. And I also didn't even, yeah. Yes, I do.
The thing is, did Merciful Fate, after King, went off and did his own stuff, did Merciful Fate tour in any other capacity at all, or did they ever try and do anything without him?
They did an album called
I don't know.
They dropped Merciful, and they did an album by just calling themselves Fate.
Oh,
I don't know if they toured it, but they do. They do have a singer, dude.
They do.
I need to go. Yeah, let me figure out who. I had to go look him up.
No shit.
And I had to look him up. When I read it, and he's a known dude. And I went and at least listened to his stuff. And he's got a range. He's sort of Rob Halford meets King Diamond. Honestly.
What's his name?
His name's Sean Peck. And he sang for a band called Cage and Death Dealer. And you might, and I don't know either of them, but you might look him up, because the one YouTube video, there's probably a bunch of YouTube videos, but the one I looked at, it was one of those bands, I think it was Death Dealer, playing in front of a rather large crowd on a very nice stage. So whoever these guys are, they're kind of known, at least in Europe. And he's a good singer, so it'll be a thing, man.
Yeah, I've heard of both of those bands. Death Dealer more than Cage, but that'll be interesting. It's like a power metal kind of band.
Exactly. So, yeah, and he's kind of, I think, kind of their age too.
Yeah, definitely.
So we'll see. I have hopes. I mean, this could be a thing.
Yeah. All right. Can't wait to hear it. Yeah. So, it's been an ongoing story that Lemmy's health has been in question. He got real skinny. We were all worried. I saw a news item where Lemmy talks about how he's down to smoking 1 pack a week. He said he quit for a couple of years, but he started again. And instead of smoking 2 packs a day, he's smoking 1 pack a week. Honestly, I don't know what to make of that.
Well, first of all, it's bullshit, I think. Any smoker who tells you they smoke 1 pack a week is smoking every time you're not looking at them. So,
yeah.
But I did notice, this is a weird thing for me to notice. I'm an ex-smoker, by the way. And I did notice, I bought their Stage Fright DVD, and and Lemmy actually wasn't inhaling for the last couple of years. Every time I saw him smoke, he was just puffing them. So I think he knew and was worried about his health a few years ago. and he smoked them like you smoke a cigar. He wasn't like smoking, you know what I mean?
So he'd
like,
still get the mouth cancer, but not the lung cancer.
So he's golden there, yeah. But so I wonder. He also said in that same news item, George, that he was drinking. He'd switched from Jack and Coke to vodka and orange juice. You know, I like his health choice. It's like, you know, it's orange juice. You know what I mean?
It's clear liquor. It's okay. It's the opaque brown liquors that are bad for you. The clear liquor. I had a roommate like myself was a little on the extra lovin' side, and this was like 92. It was like a long time ago. And he was all like, got to go to the gym, got to work out, because I have another friend who's a like power lifter, bodybuilder, Olympic athlete, and they were friends. And so he would get all psyched up to go to the gym, but he liked to drink. And so he would only drink clear liquor. He didn't really like beer. He was more of a liquor person. He'd only drink clear liquor because it burned off and it didn't make you fat like dark liquor.
I think that's I don't know where he read that.
Yes. And the fact that after like a whole bunch of vodka, he would then go and eat like 3 pizzas, that didn't help his case either. But, you know, I'm not one to talk.
Well, Lemmy's not looking great, and I think his weight loss is health related. I don't think it's because he's treating himself right. I think it's because he's in a little trouble. And I saw a video of him recently at Dave Grohl's like birthday bash or some bullshit like that, and he wasn't even playing bass. He came up to sing a song, and he wasn't playing bass. And I read something into that. I just did. I just thought he's having trouble. Even I don't think Lemmy can like even stand up for long periods of time now.
Jeez.
You know, when you get to that kind of shape.
Well, he's in his 70s, right?
I think he's 70.
Yeah, like right at the number, I think. So fingers crossed. And hey, I wish the guy nothing but the best. He's given us so much good music. But
indeed,
yeah, that phone call is going to come. You know,
that just reminded me of what we haven't done lately. We haven't done Convincing Buke, because I was thinking about that because we did a Convincing Buke with Motorhead and he did not get convinced. He doesn't like Motorhead. Can you believe that?
I can believe it. Actually, I'm going to give him an easy out on this, but I think we could convince him.
Well, it's Jay's had a nice run on the podcast.
Yeah,
but
Jay
didn't back me up.
No, Jay, we have a segment, the Convincing Buke, where George will select 3 songs from a band that I either don't like or I have never heard before in a genre like black metal that I might not like so much, to try and convince you that it's actually good.
Let's do it right now because I already got the first pick.
Do you?
Yeah, Orgasmatron, the track Orgasmatron.
Oh, well, see, we did the Motorhead one, and he wasn't convinced.
Did you choose Orgasmatron?
No, he picked. What did you pick?
I picked 3 tracks from 1916 because that's.
Oh, well, that's okay. Yeah, honestly, if you didn't get him with that.
Yeah, I thought that was a real like underhand softball lob easy one.
I just think Motorhead's boring.
Okay, so next time on the Jay and George show.
I love Motorhead, dude. I love them, and I bet you anything. And please do jump right in and tell me if I'm wrong. But was your first Motorhead album Orgasmatron, George?
Well, technically, it was the first one I bought. No, I take that back. It was the first one I liked. My first Motorhead was a cassette. I think I bought it we were talking the other day how my first Venom was the cassette of Ein Klein Nacht Music.
Yeah.
And it was like in the bargain bin. And I almost think it was the same day. I also picked up Motorhead On Parole.
Oh, that's rough.
And it was like, that's a live album, isn't it?
I think it's like an early demo album thing or something. It was like a thing they did. I can't remember if it's live or not, but I know it's like, it's pre-Motorhead, really.
And it was really awful. And I was like, I don't know what Motorhead's about. But then I was like, well, maybe that wasn't good. Let me get their latest album. That was Orgasmatron.
The reason I guessed that was because that was my first, and it was my first because if you remember, they kind of were non-functional for a short period when the two, when Eddie left and all that kind of thing. And then all of a sudden he got signed to, it was one of the more metal labels, Orgasmatron came out. So it was like one of the ones that if you were our age, like somewhere between 12 and 15, you didn't necessarily know early Motorhead because they weren't in the news for a while. And then Orgasmatron came out and I got it and I was like totally way into it. And then, and I don't have every Motorhead record, but I have most of them.
And then Rock and Roll was after that, I think.
Yeah, and that's a good record too. I like that one.
Yeah, me too.
And I thought their last really, really good one though was Inferno. That's fucking killer.
Yeah, good stuff.
And that would be a good Convincing Buke record though.
Okay. I'll see you guys later.
Well, maybe we'll
get my keys in my hand. You guys just run with it now.
Well, maybe Jay can do a better job than I did. You never know.
Well, I don't know. I mean, I would say Orgasmatron, the song Orgasmatron.
I can't deny that is a great song. Just the band is just boring.
Yeah,
But you know what? I don't know. I'm such an open-minded guy. I always give people like you a pass on that because you know what? They are kind of boring. They're like, I mean, it's verse, chorus, verse every time and everything. 4/4 time, old rock and roll kind of A. You know, like goes like A E A, like the key of A E A. But I mean, I love them. I don't know. It either does it for you or it doesn't. You know, they're kind of the precursor to Venom, really. You know.
Yeah.
And so, well, that is disappointing. You might try out Another Perfect Day. That also might be a weird gateway record. That was the one where the guy from Thin Lizzy was with them, and it's a different record than their other stuff. But interesting. But I think I run into a lot of metalheads who aren't Motorhead fans.
Always strikes me surprising that I see the Motorhead, logo on shirts and stuff like that. Like, what is it that makes it so accessible?
Well, and this kind of bugs me. Because a lot of people that probably don't know Motorhead from their ass wear the Motorhead logo.
It's a cool logo.
It's like the Ramones logo.
Yes.
It's like people wear it just because it's kind of cool. Because, I mean, I'm not going to name any names, but there are people that are not particularly metal that are in the music world, and you'll see them wearing a Motorhead shirt or a Ramones shirt.
Or likewise, in just the verbal sense, they will always be quick to be like, yeah, Lemmy's a badass motherfucker, and that does kind of get on your nerves. It gets on my nerves because it's sort of like, I went through my angry puberty with these things and I had to sit in my bedroom all alone. Don't fuck with my shit, man. You know what I mean?
Come on, name any song other than Ace of Spades. Do it. Come on.
Exactly.
So,
yeah, well, Lem. We'll see how long that lasts.
Yeah.
He's one of the few godfathers, of metal, huh?
He's pretty much the godfather.
Dio went.
Yeah, but I mean, he's pre-Dio.
No, I'm saying, but
like just for like sheer punishing, fast, heavy, I mean, keep in mind too, that's the other thing about Motorhead Buke is that like if you were living in England and, whenever like Overkill came out, there was nothing else like that. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Or America for that, purpose. But I mean, they just were like, it was sort of like the difference between Iron Maiden and Venom and the difference between like Judas Priest and Motorhead. It's like one of those is just a little more dangerous than the other one. And so like the real heavy metalheads would be like, fuck, this is my shit right here, Mm-hmm. So, but I can also see how retroactively it kind of might not work. If you've already heard Behemoth, what the fuck are you going to do,
Right.
Yeah. It's a party it's hard to come late to.
Indeed. So the next item we've got, Twisted Sister has tapped Mike Portnoy as the drum replacement for AJ Pero on their final Twisted Sister tour. I don't know if the final tour is because AJ died or if they were already planning this and he just sort of spoiled the party.
I got the impression it was the latter. Or, I mean, the former.
That it was already planned?
No. I think it was because he died. That was the impression I got. I don't know how true it is. But I would also point out they haven't really done any fucking tours anyway, so that's better actually have some dates on it,
Yeah.
They just go over and play festivals. They're not, get yourself a fucking van and go across the states, dude. I wouldn't mind seeing them.
Yeah, I saw them. I took my wife to see them, it was probably 10 years ago. But
yeah, well, they do East Coast stuff, so you've probably had a couple chances.
Yeah, I saw one. It was a Twisted. Actually, it wasn't Twisted Sister. It was the name they were going under when they weren't officially Twisted Sister. It was what's that?
Bent Brother.
Bent Brother. Yes, that's what it was. And they did a Christmas show at Jackson, Virginia here, and I really wanted to go to it. What's that?
I've heard about that place. Is that a cool place?
Yeah. No.
No,
shaking his head.
It's not. It is a fucking dump. The sound sounds like you're sitting in the fucking subwoofer itself. It is horrific. The only saving grace is sometimes you get a hot bartender. It's
kind of famous, like even out here at the West Coast, that I should know the name of that place is kind of weird.
That is pretty weird.
Well, see, I'm kind of torn on the place. I agree with Buke. There is a lot wrong with the place, and they go by the name.
They never open on fucking time. The sound is horrible. You can't. It's nice because as a metal fan, it's our really only venue we have.
Yes, they bring in a lot of good bands that we would not normally see otherwise. So you kind of gotta pick and choose, and I mean, I've complained to no end about the fact that I went to see Blind Guardian and stood out in cold January weather for an extra 2 hours past door time.
Yeah, not cool.
You know, there's a lot to complain about, but at the same time, you don't want to complain too much because it is really the biggest and best place for us to get metal in this area.
There you go. Yeah, well, and I think that's why I know about it, because I think a lot of bands that maybe start on the East Coast start there, and like just countless times on Blabbermouth or whatever it'll be, or maybe not so much now, but I used to see a lot of videos. It'd be like such and such band live at Jack's, you know, and it would just be a news item about them opening their tour or something. So, but yeah, I totally know the name of that place. I mean, I've heard it many times. It wasn't you guys talked to Barlow about it, I think, didn't you? If I remember right.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah.
Well, it goes by Empire now because it got bought out and they changed the name of the place. But because we know it from back in the day, we still call it Jack's.
Gotcha. The what the hell were we?
Speaking about AJ, going back to him.
Oh yeah.
D came out and pretty much blasted
him.
his friend. You know, saying he knew he had heart disease, ran in the family, went untreated, didn't do anything to, and you know, so much in modern medicine now. Early detection, early prevention is key.
Said the hypochondriac.
But you have to admit, I go to the doctor extensively.
You will definitely live longer than me.
So AJ here, he didn't have anything even set up for his children, his wife.
Yeah. There's another legal battle waiting to happen.
He didn't have anything like that. And it's just, I know my line of work, I'm different. I have all these things set up. I have life insurance. I have all these things established. You know, a lot of people don't. Mm-hmm. AJ, you know, knew about this stuff and didn't have anything set up. So, you know, I hope it doesn't turn into a legal battle like it sounds like it already is going to be.
Yeah.
There's a crowdfunding thing going on for his daughter. I think she even is the one who set it up. And it's like for $20,000. They're trying to just be able to pay their bills for a few months while they kind of sort it out. Because I guess the woman he left behind too, and I couldn't understand if it was his ex-girlfriend or what, but she has health issues and hasn't been able to work. I don't know. But you know what? I think that whole thing was slightly out of context. I think it was Dee's way of saying, you know, if you leave your friends just because you, you know, didn't do some of those things you could have done, you know, there's an asshole portion to that. But you know what I mean? It'd be like if your buddy killed himself. It's not like you're blasting him, but you're just like, what a prick.
Yeah, it's like you know, it's just like you just said it. It's like if you knew I was allergic to bees and we're going out, you know, saying, hey, you know, I had a close call last time I got stung. You know, we had to rush me to the hospital, but this time it's like, Buke, you didn't carry your EpiPen. And, you know, you're a new father now, and you got stung again and you died. It's like, come on, dude. You fucking knew about this.
And I think too, there's a little bit of love there too, which is sort of like, now we got to live without you, motherfucker. So
yeah, frustration.
I think where D was coming from, I think, you know.
Yeah, he's definitely not attacking his friend.
Yeah,
it's almost just like, come on, man.
Take care of yourself. Yeah, you know. And I think D's kind of a health nut too, because I think he lifts weights and stuff. And,
oh yeah.
Yeah, because he's kind of thin and looks good, you know.
Well, we're not going to take it anymore, huh?
Good. That was very topical. Nicely done, sir.
Moving on. I think we'll all be excited about the fact that Gojira is in the studio working on their 6th album, due late 2015.
Faux show. Yeah, definitely likes the Gojira, man. Good stuff.
Yeah, I can't wait to hear that.
I still don't have any of them on vinyl.
No?
Nope.
You know what? I don't either.
I have at least one of them, maybe 2 of them. I know I've got long flanges or whatever, the Frenchy one. And I think I have The Way of All Flesh on vinyl as well.
I've seen them twice and they were great. I've seen them 3 times actually, but I saw them at a place here called Slim's, that's like where you want to see a band. It's one of the places you want to see a band here. It's like bigger than you know, the small place they can't fill, but it's not the big place either. And they were insanely good. It was on the Way of All Flesh tour, and they just came out and just killed themselves. It was awesome. And then the next time I saw them, they were like opening for Mastodon actually, and it lacked that intimate thing, but they were so great. I loved them. Have you guys seen them?
No.
Nope, we've missed them, buddy.
They were punishing. I think their first tour in America was with Machine Head on the Blackening. That would have been badass to see.
Definitely.
But I didn't get to see that. Oh, I just picked up the Blackening, by the way, double vinyl collector's issue, blah 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 thing.
Sweet.
Is that new?
Well, no, Actually, that's a fair question, Buke. It was a shrink wrapped copy, but I don't know how recently.
Okay. I still don't have it on vinyl.
I found it in a record store here, and I was like, yoink, you know. Yeah. So
I walked in my record store the other day, and I saw a used copy for $5 of Death Angel of the Ultraviolence. Made my fucking day.
That's awesome, dude.
Yeah, made my day.
I went and looked up your record store, by the way. This foreign exchange thing, or whatever. What's the name of it? Something exchange.
Record Exchange.
Fuck, dude. They have a lot of cool metal pictures on their website. Their Facebook.
Yeah, their Facebook.
Like I think you told me about it. You say you guys go up there every once in a while.
Yep. We also go up the Sound Garden. Yep.
Yeah, well, they had all these great pictures of like these old metal comps and stuff, and just looked like a cool shop.
Vienna. That's what he's talking about, George. Yeah. Vienna. Yep. Oh, that guy's been in the scene for forever.
Yeah.
That's a nice looking little shop, man.
Oh, yeah. It's all metal. Exclusively metal.
Oh, really?
No, it's not.
How isn't it?
Vienna?
Yes.
He
has some junk.
He has like half the shop is like rock and pop. It's decked out in metal stuff, but there is a section. There's like a whole wall that is just like regular rock and pop stuff.
It's a metal store, Jay. It's a metal store. We go there for metal.
Yes.
You guys go
and a little Britney Spears once in a while, but everybody's got that problem.
Oh, well, hello. I mean, dude, do you find stuff you like there? Do you usually come away with a few things?
In the early days, we sort of cleaned out all the good stuff.
George
restocks.
George is the destroyer of record shops.
Sure.
George will go in and
I'm like a locust.
Yeah. George is on a wasted earth policy for stuff,
Scorched earth.
Yeah, scorched earth. George goes in and fucking lays waste.
Oh, fuck. Back up. George, that's your fucking metal name. Scorched earth, right?
Scorched earth. Yes, scorched earth. Yes.
I like it.
Yes.
Well, digression. Gorgiro, I'm up for it, man. Cool. I'm glad to hear them making a record. Love those guys.
So apparently fans have been speculating on the internet that the new Slayer album might have a little piece of Jeff Hanneman on there somewhere, and Kerry King came out and stomped on everybody's hopes and dreams and said there will be no Jeff Hanneman on the new Slayer record.
Yeah, I must have not read the article with the rumors because I took it as fact. I was like, oh, that's cool. They got a track that he recorded or that he was on and stuff, and I thought it was going to happen. So I was kind of sorry to hear that. I mean, I'm not blown away by the new Slayer records anyway.
Yeah.
But that was kind of an emotional thing, obviously, Jeff dying and stuff. So, yeah, it's too bad. That's too bad. I wonder if stuff does exist, though, and they, maybe posthumously for the band, they can maybe put some stuff out. That's too bad.
Maybe.
It's buried under loads of vodka and beer still that they have to go through and find. So.
I'm no doubt, dude. I mean, Kerry's lucky he's not in the same shape. I got to tell you, they were called the Drunk Brothers.
Jay, you've heard stories we go on. Apparently, these guys, like Jeff, would wake up every day and just start pounding vodka.
Wow! No, I didn't know that.
Oh yeah. I read it online that they would just wake up and just just start drinking straight vodka and Heinekens and.
That's crazy. That's like somebody getting up, waking up, hitting the car, coming over, getting in front of a microphone and just drinking beer all day. I don't get it. I just don't understand how people do that.
Wow. Shine that light on yourself, my friend. Yeah, that's it. Okay. I don't know if I'm even disappointed, but it's nice to know the truth of the matter, I guess. That's too bad. I'm actually kind of excited to hear what they sound like with Gary Holt, to be honest with you.
Yeah. I'm curious.
That might put a little ride in their stride. I mean, I like Gary Holt, and I like Exodus, and he's kind of like one of those metal guys, he kind of is out there keeping the faith all these years. So we'll see what that's like.
Yeah.
It was interesting too. He had to skip an Exodus tour recently to do a Slayer tour.
Wow.
Yeah.
It pays more, I'm sure.
That's what I was thinking too. Yeah. Bigger paycheck. Yeah.
So Iron Maiden has, at least I assume it's Iron Maiden that did it, but the Iron Maiden catalog has been remastered for iTunes. This makes me sad.
Well, I was interested to hear your take on it, George, because, and you too, Buke, I don't know if you've tried any of these, and I haven't. I have to be honest with you, I saw that kind of coming out, and every time they ever said mastered for iTunes, it was something I already had. So I was just like, I'm not going to try that. And I take it you've got some experience with it, or what? Well,
iTunes, the best sound quality you're getting out of iTunes is 256K.
Yeah, no matter what.
So if it's mastered for iTunes, that means, the full recordings just don't sound good at our crappy 256K, so we're going to remaster it to try and make it sound a little better. Nah, how about you just get a lossless format or some sort of high definition, not this remastered for iTunes bullshit.
Well,
I think it's just another money grab opportunity.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because it starts getting to that point where the people buying it I don't think they can even tell the damn difference.
Not with those two.
Yeah.
I saw some people on Facebook the other day bitching about Tidal, the new lossless streaming app. They were bitching about
too.
What's that?
There was an article too that was kind of negative about it. But.
Yeah, I think actually people were like commenting on that, and I read the article. They were like, first of all, they were like, oh, it's just a bunch of rich musicians trying to charge twice as much for music, and oh, it's all just stupid music, and and they were complaining that, oh, I can't hear the sound quality difference. And yeah, okay, stop listening on your Apple earbuds or your laptop speakers. Obviously, you're not going to be able to tell the difference.
Yeah.
There's plenty of good metal on there because these were metal people.
Right. Well, you guys both use it, right?
I do, and I love it. I think it's great. It sounds so much better if you're listening on the right medium. Yeah, if you're listening to Beats headphones or Apple
laptop speakers
or Apple earbuds, no, you're not going to hear the difference because those things can't tell the difference because they're not set up for high definition audio.
Yeah, yeah.
So I refrained from joining the conversation because the person that I'm Facebook friends with that had instigated it is not somebody that I'm terribly close with. In fact, it's the singer of a band.
Oh, right on.
So I didn't want to be like, you're all a bunch of fucking fools. But I wanted to. I really did.
Well, I think Buke, you probably hit it on the nose. It's kind of a money grab thing. I wanted to ask you too, George. You made reference previously to paying a certain amount. You were like buying FLAC is more expensive. Well, where do you buy FLAC?
There's some sites.
Bandcamp.
Well, that's where Bandcamp is the place to do it because it doesn't cost any more than a regular album.
Okay.
When you buy an album on Bandcamp, you have the choice of downloading it as MP3 or as WAV, I think, and as FLAC. But there's sites there's a site called hdtracks.com, and first of all, their metal selection sucks. Yeah. But to get an album in FLAC, it could be like $17 to $24.
Gotcha.
There's also the Neil Young Pone Player site. I believe I haven't looked at it extensively, but they're also really expensive as well.
Okay.
So I try to get my high definition files from ripping my CDs myself or through Bandcamp because it's just more economical.
Did you rip a vinyl?
Have I ripped vinyl?
Uh-huh.
I have the capability to do so. I have not yet because back in the day, in the 80s, maybe you had one of these. I had a dual cassette deck with the turntable on top.
Oh, yeah.
And you could record your vinyl onto cassette for portability. And it always was like, shh, shh,
yeah.
shh. You heard the needle and the vinyl spinning. And so I haven't bothered to do that because I'm like, it may be a quality recording, but I'll probably hear the needle.
It would be more labor intensive too, because you'd have to create the tracks and
yeah.
Because it plays one side at a time. I was curious. That's all. I don't do it.
What I think this Iron Maiden, these iTunes remastered for iTunes, it's almost, I look at this like it's the various forms of Star Wars that have come out.
I feel the same about the new digital Star Wars.
This week we got a digital release for iTunes, digital Star Wars release, remastered for digital.
That's a great analogy.
Please, that's exactly like this Iron Maiden thing because it's like you're remastering it to remaster it.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, and to get your core audience to have a reason to buy it yet again.
Yep.
Personally, I went back and Iron Maiden over the summer was releasing their albums from their original recordings. Mm-hmm. They sound great. They don't need to. I like stuff preserved from when it was recorded the first time.
Yeah.
I bought those too.
Yeah, they sound great.
Yep.
Yeah. I wish I had bought the little box set option they had, but
it's just like me being a big video game guy. It's just whenever they release a video game with new downloadable content, I think it's their attempt again just to always keep the product out there, to always stay relevant.
Game of the Year edition.
Yeah, to always keep that name out there again.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you just cracked the code.
Yeah, you think you're buying something more than you actually are.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, one thing from Iron Maiden that I will possibly pay some money for is their new Iron Maiden headphones. I haven't heard any of the details yet, but I did see a news item that said that they will be releasing Iron Maiden headphones. I'm a sucker for that kind of thing because Buke and I, we're wearing the Motorhead headphones right now.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I love them. They sound great. I think they're they're over the ear, and
I think I'd heard them. I think they mentioned them on that metal show once. I think they gave some away.
Yeah,
during the trunk.
I think so.
Yeah, they sound great.
Yeah, the Motorizer.
Awesome, dude. Okay. Well, and obviously they say Motorhead on them somewhere or something.
Yeah, it's got the little war pig on the side and it says Motorhead.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. So I don't know. We'll see. Maybe the Iron Maiden ones sound better.
Sounds good. Yeah, I'm gonna keep my eyes open. Then that's awesome, dude. There's a few Iron Maiden products I wish I had bought. One was they had these Converse high tops or something for a while that had a few of the album covers on them. I really wish I would have bought some of those, man. I'd totally wear those.
Yeah.
It was like Killers.
See, I'm not cool enough to wear that type of stuff. Maybe because I think I'm.
Oh, but I'm not either.
I see, but you are, because you look like you're in shape. Big guys like myself, I don't think that they look good like rocking the Converse and stuff.
I don't look good in anything, so.
But it's just because you just look so good out of everything. You know that?
Yes.
Yes,
Birthday
It's hard
suit is
to
the
trust
best.
me. It's hard to improve on perfection.
that's why I make George do this podcast naked. Because I'm like, George, you're not. That shirt is below you.
Yep.
You know.
No, yeah, absolutely. Well, it doesn't work for me either, actually, Buke, because I'm losing my hair and I don't really dress like a metal guy that much. I mean, I have metal T-shirts and I wear those, but I look like those guys at the concerts that I used to look sideways at, which you guys probably do too now.
No, you look like be honest. You look like the guy at the concert who's his son or daughter somewhere in the crowd.
Drag them along. Yeah. I don't know when I became that guy, but I did. Last night I looked at. There was a very violent mosh pit right in front of me at last night's show, and I was really grateful for the security guards who were protecting
Did you
us.
pull a George? Like in mosh pits now for George, he disgustedly he's pushing away a Ebola patient.
Like, get off of me.
Get off of me! Get your sweat away from me! Get your.
Oh, dude, I kid you not. I was sort of like, somebody should put a stop to this in my head.
Will anybody rescue me, please?
This is a thing. I forgot, and I even took part in this thing once upon a time.
Yeah, we did our time in the pit. We don't have to do it anymore.
Get off my lawn! I paid good money to see this.
Yes, a famous story we told earlier on another episode. George and I went to a show a couple months back.
King Diamond.
And George was pouty, he's blocking my view.
Oh, dude.
Yeah, well, he was tall and just not right. That's all I'm saying. He's just.
There was one entertaining thing at last night's mosh pit, though, which was there was this guy who was a tree of a guy in front of us, and we were right on the edge of the pit, and I mean, he was massive, this guy, and whenever somebody bumped into him, he flicked them off like a fly. It was something to see, man, because he wasn't moshing. He was just but he stood there so nonchalantly, and it was a pretty violent pit. But boy, it was really cool. Me and our drummer were both just laughing our ass off. Every time somebody ran into this guy, they ended up on the other side of the pit pretty quick. So yeah, man, we must talk someday in detail about the old men at the metal show kind of thing.
Yeah.
Times they have changed.
Indeed. So Children of Bodom are recording their 9th album due out later this year.
Wow.
Looking forward to that. They're pretty prolific.
They are.
I can't say I am.
You're not looking forward to it?
Yeah, even though my gamer tag and stuff is Opeth Bodom for every gamer out there. I gotta get off the fucking Opeth train.
How many is that, Jay?
I stopped keeping my little hash marks too.
I tell you, ever since Hate Crew Death Roll, George, they haven't sounded the same for something. I can't put my finger on it.
Well, it's because the guitar player left after Hate Crew Death. I can't say it either. After Hate Crew Death Roll, the lead guitar player left, and they got somebody else. And the first couple albums after that, very different. And I have to agree, Hate Crew Death Roll is my favorite Bodom album. But they've slowly been making their way back to, Halo of Blood was really good. And the one before that, Relentless, Reckless Forever, that was pretty good too.
Look at you with the bulls, man.
I know my Bodom, bitch.
I think Hate Crew Death Roll is probably their highest selling record too.
The lead guitar work on that is just phenomenal.
But that Alexi guy, he's kind of a hot shot too. The guy
He is. But the melodic guitar leads with the ferocious vocals that they had on that album, and the keyboards, it's just there's nothing like it.
Yeah, I think they do really well in Europe too. By the way, I think those guys do make a living. I think that's one of those bands that makes a pretty good living.
I hope so.
Yeah. What label are they on?
They were on Century Media for a while, right? Nuclear Blast.
I think it's Nuclear Blast. Yeah.
By the way, I saw something kind of cool last night. I meant to tell you too about this at the Festival. Orchid played, as you know, and Orchid is a Nuclear Blast band. But Nuclear Blast had a table, and they had people there working the table just so Nuclear Blast shit. It was kind of cool.
That's pretty sweet. Were they selling vinyl?
Yeah, they had vinyl. They had T-shirts. They didn't have any vinyl I didn't have, but I thought of you, George, because they had this package of Bloodstone and Diamonds, and it was that's the name of that Machine Head, right?
Yep.
And it was this like a box. It wasn't a vinyl box, but it was a box. And it looked really nice, the box. But when I looked closer, it was like a T-shirt and the CD. And I can't remember. And it was a large T-shirt. And I don't remember a couple other little trinkets, but it was just a beautiful box. But anyway, yeah, that was cool. I'd like to see that more. A record label actually representing themselves and selling merchandise at a show.
That would be cool.
It was super cool. I didn't buy any. Like I said, I didn't have any vinyl I didn't have. But I did buy 2 vinyls. Oh, I mentioned that. But yeah, so that's kind of cool. I'd like to see that more often. Of course, this was a festival, so maybe that had something to do with it. But
I'm hoping that Death Fest, when we go, and I should mention that Buke is now going with me, so that is going to be an ordeal.
I'm so happy that he is, though, dude. I think that's awesome.
Yeah, I was going to go by myself and, be the mopey guy kicking a can and being like, "Where's my buddy?" But, now I'm happy. But, they said that Death Fest is going to have like a vendor village. So
he always does, yeah.
Yeah, so there's going to be vinyl there.
That's awesome, dude.
Which will be problematic because I'll be loaded down with stuff and be like, I have to hold this for 12 hours.
They have to let you take it to the car like they did at Barbecue. Remember the first couple hours? You can walk out to your car and drop the stuff off because we both bought vinyl.
Yeah, except our car's not going to be anywhere near where we are.
We Uber back.
How many people attend this thing? How big is it?
I don't know.
Spread out over 3 venues. I've heard a couple thousand people at it. It's a worldwide concert that people travel in for.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, and I know about it all too well. It's on all the metal news sites. I've known about it for years.
Yep. We'll talk about it more later. But if you happen to be going to the Death Fest, look us up. We'll be around, and we'll give you details closer to the show. But if you're a listener and you're going to Death Fest, should hook up with us at some point. We'll have a beer, have a chat, whatever.
Well, I'd like a crack at that vendor's village. That sounds awesome, dude.
Yeah, that's like, other than Triptychon, that's probably my most anticipated thing.
Yeah, you'll come home with something cool, I guarantee you.
Yeah. So there was a news item this past week, unfortunately, about 2 metal bands that were in a van crash, and 3 of the members between 2 bands were killed, unfortunately. The bands were called Chaotica with a K and Wormreich. I never heard of these bands prior today, so they're obviously pretty small bands, but that's unfortunate. And
apparently the driver fell asleep at the wheel.
Yeah.
I knew that before I even read the story. When I read the headline, I was like, they fell asleep, because that's the tour thing for you, man. They, you get all these guys, they're probably loading and unloading their own equipment.
Yep.
Playing late at night. They got probably got out of wherever they got out of at 1 a.m. or something, and they had to drive some unsafe amount of distance. Yeah, I knew it right away. I was like, I know the guy fell asleep.
And he wasn't hurt.
Yeah, and he wasn't hurt.
They listed all the people that had died and people that were hurt, and he wasn't one of them.
Well, then he doesn't have a very pleasant existence ahead of him. I can guarantee you that guy's going to have some shit to work through. But
yeah,
very sad. Very sorry to hear it. And
our condolences go out to the metal community around these bands.
100%. Yeah. We are all brothers, man. You know what I mean? And that's just too bad.
Yep.
Guys out there doing what they loved, and it came to a tragic end. I was very sorry to read that story. Did you, George, even go to look to see if they had any music or anything like on their?
I have not had a chance yet.
I'll do that today. I'll go see if they have like something up on Bandcamp.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, and see what they were all about. At least, all the more reason that they should have been heard. So
exactly.
Yeah. Sad news.
Indeed. So Dave Lombardo shot down another rumor that there was going to be a reactivated Grip Incorporated.
Yeah, I saw that. I didn't know that until I saw until you sent this to me.
Yeah, I didn't hear the rumors either.
Yeah, I hadn't even heard the rumors. That's true.
Are you a fan of Grip?
No, not really. I got to be honest with you.
Well, fine then. I love, back in the early 90s, they were one of the bands that during the grunge thing that helped get me over the hump, so to speak, because they were still putting out some pretty heavy thrash albums. And of course, the reason that Dave shot it down was because the singer Gus Chambers died a few years back, and he just was like, Grip is not Grip without Gus Chambers on vocals. So no, there will not be a reunion. Well,
and as some mild explanation, one of the reasons I was kind of mad when Dave left, honestly, and I was just like, that sounds so lame. That's such a bad way to do business. And I mean me. So that the fact that I kind of just was so disinterested in everything he was doing, because I was such a huge Slayer fan for such a long time. Yeah. And I loved Lombardo. It's like Martin Lopez. You know what I mean? Like when he left, I was like, that was a big deal to me. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So anyway, and I never really followed him around any of his stuff. Poor Dave.
This is the best news story of the week, George. Go ahead and say this one. This one has me fucking excited.
This is all you, man. You're
Chris Adler has been confirmed for Megadeth
as a guest. For now.
Yeah.
Have you seen the subsequent stories saying that, Nick Menza was like, I got a raw deal, and that Marty Friedman was, in fact, asked to come back, but he turned it down.
Yeah, I did see that. And I am a little disappointed because that is one of the great metal records of all time. Rest in peace.
Yep.
So that's too bad. But very cool. I like Chris Adler, too. So cool on that.
Oh, yeah.
I was actually more interested to hear that Nick Menza sounded like they really didn't offer him shit.
Yeah.
Like it sounded like we'll give you I don't know what they offered him, but it was like a weekly salary that was sort of embarrassing.
Well, so many bands are doing. I mean, honestly, that's the problem with Lombardo. When he left Slayer the first time, he was like out of the corporation, and so when he came back, he was hired on as an employee, and he wasn't getting shit, and that's why he was like, we need to renegotiate this, and they were like, nah, fuck you, you're out of here. Yeah,
he was even straight up, and he said he told how much money he made, and it was like they toured for like a year, and he walked away with like $30,000 or something like that. And he was like,
the bass player for Testament, same thing. He left the band, he was removed from the corporation, he came back, and he was a hired gun, and he wasn't making shit, and he got fed up with it and left. It's unfortunate that, you gotta pay attention to the business side, otherwise you're gonna get screwed.
If again, Jay from Catatonic Society is with us. Jake, if your band breaks up, you pull out the fucking knives and go for the throats, brother. You take care of yourself.
That's not what I'm saying.
It wasn't the Kiss, though. You know what I mean? It was like, I totally understood.
Like, you know what? We were thinking about metal nicknames earlier. Mm-hmm. Speaking about in regards to this, what Jay told us earlier, his nickname is? J. Dave Mustaine. That's his nickname. He runs that band with an iron fist. This ain't going to happen to him.
It's awesome to have your nickname actually be somebody else's name.
No, but what I'm trying to get at is, it's good that bands are, paying attention and handling their business and forming corporations and things like that. But, and sure, if you bring in hired gun XYZ to be on an album or to do a tour, you're not going to automatically put them in the corporation and give them shares in that. And
Chris Adler, for instance, doesn't deserve a 1/4 share.
Right.
Yeah.
But when you've got somebody like a founding member coming back, they really should get grandfathered back in.
Try to be less of a dick.
Yeah.
That Kiss was the same way, and that's why Ace and Peter left the second time was, Paul and Gene made $60 million and they made $2,
Okay,
and
so I'm sorry.
Go ahead. No,
I was going to
please.
say, if Newsted rejoins.
Well, see, that's where Metallica is cool. As soon as Robert Trujillo joined Metallica, they were like, here's your $1 million signing bonus. You're a full quarter member. Because there's no bullshit. If you're in Metallica, you're in Metallica.
But also, Jason did not sign away his life either. And Jason still gets paid whatever he used to get paid. So,
do you think he ever needs to work again for his prior time with them?
Oh, fuck no.
Can't imagine so.
He's not as rich as the other dudes, but he is very, very rich.
He's always my favorite member, too.
He also gets he's just as much a member of Metallica as concerns all the material he was on as he ever was. Marty Friedman's not getting anything from Rest in Peace, but believe me, when Black Album sells, Newsted gets a check.
Wait,
oh yeah, absolutely. I read an interview with Newsted, and he talks about it in that movie that they did. He said, we'll be business partners for the rest of our lives.
No, but I was talking about. Are you serious about Marty gets nothing?
I doubt it. He might have some publishing since he wrote some of those songs. There's that publishing thing again raising its head.
You were on one of the greatest albums in metal history, and you still can't reap the benefits from it.
Not the way Dave does, no.
Jesus.
No.
But the shit he helped write, he gets money from that. If it's on the radio and other various things, or the record sells, then you are owed a share as the publisher.
Jay, do you think stuff like this happens because people let their voice go unheard?
Yeah. Oh yeah. You know what? Here's what I think. Keeping a band together is so hard anyway. Now I think when you get to where it's a business, a real business, then it's a little different, and you should probably speak your claim. But I can't tell you how many claims I've been in all the bands I've been in. It's been frequent for me to highly disagree with something somebody wanted to do, but to keep my mouth shut just because I didn't want to cause a fight that would not give me something to do next Friday night. You know what I mean? Like that's the end of the band, and because so and so, I'm like a total peacekeeper. So yeah, I can see how guys might have got themselves into some contractual trouble just because, for any number of reasons, they maybe, especially in Megadeth, dude. Because you know what? If you came into Megadeth late, you were probably afraid Dave was going to let you go at any given time.
Yep.
Seriously, I bet that would be true. And so I would think you would sign whatever piece of paper they gave you. I mean, I was a little surprised the dude from Chris Broderick.
Yeah, Chris Broderick. Yep. Man,
I was a little surprised. I was surprised he left because I thought that was his chance to step in the spotlight. But I think there again, he probably wasn't making that much. It was probably just like, fuck it. I was happier with my other band.
Right.
I think a lot of it just comes down to that, it doesn't sound like Dave wants to be very open to.
It's Dave's band.
And that's true too. You know what? He's the reason that band has endured. So everybody's got a dog in the fight. And I get it. I tend not to be too judgmental. But
the thing is, though, why as a member of another band, you have another band that you've played with, if you're joining if you're joining Megadeth,
right?
Why go into it? But do you know how Dave is?
Yeah.
Why would you?
Exposure.
But Chris Adler doesn't need it.
And it's a chance to if you are a struggling musician and somebody told you now you're going to be on one of these kick-ass tour buses, we're going over the United States, we're going to take you to France and every other country in Europe. Yeah, I could see how you would jump at that if you were really focused on that.
Adler's probably just doing it because he's like, hey, I like Megadeth. I want to do a Megadeth album. That'd be great. That's, he doesn't need it, but he's doing it for fun probably, which may be what makes the album a little better. And,
Metallica signing Robert Trujillo as 1/4 member, $1 million signing bonus. I would also point out they're one of the few bands that could afford to do that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like Mustaine is a millionaire many times over, but he's not an empire like they are. So he's probably a little more protective. And he's probably been fucked a bunch of times too. I'm sure he has.
Oh yeah.
Which is me just basically arguing everybody's point of view. You know what I mean?
Well, it's good to be able to see both sides of the. That's good. Otherwise, if you only see one side of the story, then maybe you're talking out of your ass sometimes. So
there you go. So I'm slowly assigning myself a role on the podcast, and it's bringing us back. And
don't worry, Jay. Once we get Dave on the podcast, I'll ask him the hard questions.
Oh fuck yeah! And you know what? He'd probably answer them too.
I know he would, because he comes off very full of himself.
There you go.
You're talking about Dave. Oh, you're Dave Mustaine.
Yes.
Sorry, I was thinking Dave Lombardo. I was like, you talking about Dave Lombardo is a very humble guy.
You take that back.
You don't talk about Dave that way. All right. Thank you, Jay, for bringing us back. This next item, I just wanted to put it out there. I almost missed it myself, but this past week was the 4th anniversary of the passing of Scott Columbus.
How could you forget? Look at our studio.
I know.
I was a shock when he died.
Yeah, well.
It wasn't, what was he, 45, 50, something like that?
He was 54, I think.
Okay. But even so, he looked pretty good. The guy had muscles and everything. He looked like he kind of had down he went.
Yep. They never released the circumstances. We can speculate. Out of respect for Scott, I'm not going to speculate, but it's unfortunate that he's no longer with us. He was the drums of doom. Play that Man-O-War loud.
Yeah, it was cool when he came back. I remember, that was kind of a cool thing. I actually bought one of the tour videos they did the year he came back because I wanted to watch it and see, and I did. And it was kind of fun. I mean, it was them all walking around saying how great they were all the time. Well, Joey saying how great they were there all the time.
Do you remember?
That was a real shame when he died. He was a member I actually kind of liked.
Yeah. Buke, do you remember when we saw him? We interviewed Rhapsody on their tour bus. It was our very first interview. It was horrible.
Picture two slubs like George and I. We have Rhapsody, one of my favorite power metal bands, on their, and George's too, on their first American fucking tour. George and I are just two schlubs with a little tape record recorder. We walk on the tour bus thinking, we're going to interview like a guitarist or something. We have all 5 or 6 members, a tour manager. We have everybody on the bus.
And they're just sitting there looking at us expectantly, with broken English, they're Italian. And, Fabio's sitting across the tour buses have the little diner benches. And across the diner table is Fabio. and answering some of the questions, and Luca Turilli's over there. He's answering some of the questions, and just everybody's just sitting there looking at us like we're freaking Rolling Stone or something. And we started the interview and forgot to turn on the tape recorder because we were so shitting ourselves.
Yes, we were like 3 questions in, and we had to go back and start over and do it again.
And
that's when you turned it back on. You said, "You remember what you were saying before about that? I'd like to hear you say more about that."
Yeah,
but you don't tell them to turn it off. That's awesome, dude. Or you didn't turn it on.
Yeah.
Oh, I would give anything for a picture of that, dude.
I need to find the cassette because we never did publish it.
No.
Oh, really? You did? Wow. Yeah,
No,
was
we
that?
never did.
Like,
No.
Okay.
But while we were standing outside the tour bus with the tour manager waiting for the band, Scott Columbus walks by and he's all like, "Hey, what's up?" And we were like, "Scott Columbus." And so that'll always be my last and favorite memory of Scott Columbus.
That's awesome, dude. And I think he was like a real man's man, man on the street, man. You know what I mean? Nice guy, probably.
Yeah, they're all nice. I mean, I can't speak for Joey. I haven't met Joey, but I did meet Eric Adams before a show in Cleveland once, and he just sat and chatted with us for a little while, and he was incredibly cool.
Awesome. You know what? You just prompted something I wanted to ask you about, which was and this is just because having met people, you've met some people. You mentioned to me that your copy of Born Again was signed by Ian Gillan and some other people, and I was wondering what was the circumstance that allowed you to get that done?
eBay.
Oh, it was on eBay. Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah.
I was like, how were they? When were they all in the same room? You know what I mean, kind of thing. But it was.
Well, they told me that that's what was on there.
You know how that actual circumstance happened? Some guy handed it to his wife and his kid
and said, "Sign
and
this."
here, sign this.
No, I get stuff that's either certified or at least has pictures of the people signing it. So.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
But,
no, that's.
I don't buy too much stuff like that. I've got a signed copy of Black Sabbath 13 with Iommi and Butler and Ozzy that we bought at the show. They were actually selling them, so I'm pretty happy with that. And then, so I was like, man, I really wish I had, Ian Gillan too. So I went on eBay and I looked for something that was, seemed legit.
Yeah.
I've also got a copy of Mob Rules signed by everybody, including Ronnie James Dio.
It's amazing. It is amazing.
It hangs in the bar.
Oh, speaking about, how about your fucking wedding gift over here? Put fucking Buke. Jay, take over for me. Get the... This was a wedding gift I got for George to show you how much I love this fucking guy. This is signed by every member of Manowar. It's a shirt.
And it's framed, and it's in the studio here.
For the longest time, it wasn't. But he had his Ramones random Walmart poster hanging on the wall and all this other shit.
I didn't actually have anything until a couple of weeks ago. There was nothing on the wall, and this went up the same time as everything else. But by all means, continue to complain.
Yeah, one day he's going to break it over my head, like WrestleMania style or something.
Yeah. I wanted to ask, the 13, is that vinyl?
I have it on vinyl, but
So
it's a CD that's signed.
So yeah, right on. Cool. Scott Columbus.
Indeed.
R.I.P. bro.
What do you got?
I was going to say, I don't have anything Opeth signed.
Oh, I have. Yes, you do.
Yes, we do. The CD.
Yeah, I've got 2 things by them signed, but Opeth.
I can't keep up.
Speaking of vinyl, I just wanted to put this out there. My friend Josh let me know about this, so I was able to jump on board this bandwagon real quick. Throssenblatt is releasing a vinyl of their album Canada 2010 on Lost 40 Records. There's like a black and then like a clear green vinyl, and they're limited to, I think, like 175 copies each.
Right on.
So if you're a Throssenblatt fan, which you're probably not because nobody's heard of them, but I am.
Actually, can I drive that point home a little bit?
Sure.
And it's just that I'd like to, and I don't want to be unkind to these guys, especially if they're friends of yours or whatever, but I would like you to say Throssenblatt again and for me and Buke to react exactly as we did when you started this news story. So go ahead and just say Throssenblatt, please.
Throssenblatt.
Dead silent. I just love that. Throssenblatt. Buke and I were like, nothing. We left you hanging, man. But these guys are cool, though, huh?
Throssenblatt's pretty cool, yeah. Joel, the main guy that does this band, was in a band called Woods of Ypres.
I know that you're like totally into them.
Yeah, I'm totally into that band. David Gold was the main guy in Woods of Ypres. He died in a traffic accident a couple years ago, and so no more Woods of Ypres, unfortunately. But Throssenblatt David Gold was actually the drummer on Canada 2010. And so that's one reason. That's why I picked it up originally, because I was depressed because there wasn't any new Woods of Ypres coming out. I'm like, well, what else can I find that he's been on? What rare shit? And I'm like, okay, there's a band called Necromyth. That's a Korean band. He played drums on that album, so I bought that.
Korean band, that's awesome.
Yeah, and I was like, oh, Throssenblot, what the hell's that? And I was like, okay, he played drums on that. And Joel, the guitar player in Woods of Ypres, is the singer and guitar player in Throssenblot.
Cool.
Which, in case you don't know, Throssenblot, Thrawsunblat, was their interpretation of what thrash and blast would sound like pronounced by a Northern European.
Oh, dude, that's awesome.
Throssenblot.
That's totally creative.
Isn't it?
And hilarious at the same time.
Yeah.
Oh,
so,
that's awesome.
So anyway, it's Throssenblot is like, it's Canadian black metal with mixed in folk and maritime type stuff. It's pretty cool. Definitely should check these guys out.
And the larger point being, it's coming out on vinyl.
Yes, very limited runs of vinyl. You can pick it up at Lost 40 Records. They're pre-ordering right now.
I'm literally looking at it as we speak, partially because I'm interested in this Lost 40 to see what that's all about. But cool, dude.
Yeah, I think they're, and it's funny. I think they're actually a brewery, or
really?
at least some sort of like brew pub kind of thing that are craft beer place or something. That they're like they're releasing these 3 albums on vinyl just because they're like we make beer, we like metal. Let's do this.
Fuck yeah, dude. That's awesome. Yeah, anybody can have a label. You know what I mean? If I had extra money to throw around, there's some bands here I would have a label. I mean, we made up our label, End Times Records, on Catatonic Society, and we're trying to convince all of our the bands we play with the most to put theirs out on that. Just put the same thing. We'll give them the font.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Create our own little scene here if we can.
Totally. I mean, I've been talking to Buke, and I mentioned it to you too. We thought it would be really cool to do for Record Store Day a vinyl-only version of the podcast.
Absolutely.
And,
dude.
press up like 100 copies and, maybe do a Kickstarter or something to get it funded.
Awesome.
And I honestly don't know if we can pull it off, but it would be really cool to do.
It would be really cool just to try the Kickstarter thing and just to try it,
Yeah. So, hey, if you're out there and you're into vinyl and you're into our podcast, let us know if you'd be interested in that.
Definitely.
Maybe we could get Catatonic Society to record an exclusive track for it or something.
Totally do that.
How fucking cool would that be? We're on side A and B. If Catatonic Society does an exclusive track just on this. Oh man, wouldn't that be slick?
We'd call it Metal Disciple Catatonic Society Split.
Yeah.
Oh yes,
exactly.
wouldn't that be sweet?
Yeah.
Yes.
I've kept this in mind ever since you mentioned it, George, and which was recently. But and I've been jotting down vinyl pressing places to check out. And I have a little list. I don't have it right next to me, but I'll send it to you. And basically, I've just been kind of looking at some of the records that I have and things like that. And some of them actually will advertise the place that printed the record. You know what I mean? That's a thing. So, and then on the High and Fire, I got another one last night. So I'm going to look at it. I'm going to look at it online and see what it's all about. But
yeah,
man, that can be done. And I don't think it has to break the bank either.
Right. That's the thing is I was looking at a couple different places, and in order to do something that was a 12-inch vinyl that has cover artwork, nothing fancy, I was crunching the numbers, and it was slowly going up per copy, without even putting any profit on top of it, just cost per item. It was $15, up to $20, up to almost $30. And I was like, honestly, I don't think anybody's going to pay $30 for a vinyl of a podcast.
Yeah.
So if I can get that number down to a point where people might actually be into, paying for it, we don't have to make any money on it. I just like to press it and do it and sell it at cost.
I'm not giving up. I'm really not. I'm gonna kind of keep my eyes open. You never know what we'll find. And not to mention, there's just Relapse has a special sale every once in a while. Every once in a while, you'll find somebody who's kind of doing a special deal kind of thing. So, yeah, it could happen, man. This needs to stay in your kind of daydream thing for sure.
Right.
And keep your fingers crossed. Keeping my eyes open, too.
My friend Josh would probably be mad if I didn't also mention he's been trying to convince me that we should do a live show.
And Will has been saying that.
Has he? Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Remember, Will says, "Come to him."
I agree.
You mean do a podcast from the brewery?
Yeah, but a live show. There's so many social media things, what's that Meerkat and stuff like this. It's a video cam thing too.
Oh, okay.
If we were just to fire up one of our iPhones on us watching us, or maybe stream to YouTube or something.
Well, that's different. I mean, I've got a GoPro camera that I was thinking of just like putting up in the corner and recording the video of the podcast as well as the audio. But then I can go and edit it and put it online and whatever. It's not real time, but even like real time video obviously is a thing we could do. But what we're talking about is like actually having a venue that people can attend. And Josh thinks if we, go out and flyer and raise enough of a ruckus that we could get some people to come to this thing. Yeah. And I'm not convinced at this point that we really have enough people in this area that would come. Do we have a decent amount of people around the world? Yeah. But I don't know that we have enough people congregated in any one particular region.
Good point, yeah.
That we could pull enough people to warrant a show. Now, that's if we were to set up a show ourselves. Could we maybe get buddy-buddy with a band in the area and they'd let us open a show? Maybe. That's someplace to start, something to consider.
Well, also you might consider something like, first off, it can just be a bar if it's the right bar or a place, and not a noisy bar, but it's just like the places we play, dude. I mean, you might say, could we have a show anywhere? And yes, we can. You know what I mean? We go and there's people there and that kind of thing. If you find the right kind of thing, well, I like the sound of what the guy, you were talking about, Will. Is that who you're talking about?
Yeah.
Was he the one who was saying, like, come to us?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, I think that's the right idea. I'll tell you, too, I say think about all this stuff, keep it in mind, and this is what we should do is if I'm going to try to come to Triptychon. If that doesn't happen, we wait until there's the right show that's going on. I'll come out, we'll go to the show, and I'll come and we'll do the live podcast. You know what I mean? We'll do like a bunch of shit in 4 days or something like that.
Yeah.
Yes.
It'll be fun.
We'll do an open mic night.
Absolutely, dude.
Feel like we're a podcast.
And have a real special couple podcasts out of it. It'd be fun. And I think it wouldn't matter if there was 30 people there. That would be fun.
Yeah. 30 people would be awesome.
Yeah, I was thinking 6, dude. 30, that's amazing.
Be like, oh, there's my wife, there's my mom, and, that's it.
My mailman.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude, it can be done. But, yeah, I highly support this kind of thing. I always say, shoot farther than you can see. You know what I mean? Fuck it.
Yeah. So, hey, and also, if you're in the D.C., Virginia, Maryland area, let us know if you'd come to a show. If enough people ask for this stuff, then maybe we'll actually, get off our asses and do something about it.
There you go.
So another thing I saw in the news yesterday, which I thought was pretty damn cool, Finland's leading university, the University of Helsinki, is offering a 3-week course in the history of heavy metal music and its importance in contemporary Western society.
Gotcha.
That's cool.
There's more than one reason I want to go to Finland. A lot of them are metal-based, honestly. The other ones are goalie-based.
Yeah.
One of the good goalies from Finland.
Tuukka Rask.
Yeah, dude, I would love to be able to go to something like this. Wouldn't that be fun?
Yeah, my wife was all supportive. She was like, "Yeah, we'll go to there, and I'll go and just hang out, and you can go take this class, and it's like €640 for the class."
Fuck yeah, dude!
But
it never occurred to me actually go. Yeah.
Well, yeah, and I'm like, if I don't ace this class, I'm in trouble. But
George, you could be fucking recognized.
I want to be a doctor of metal.
Yeah. When people ask you about it, you say, "Oh, that's it." No, I ended up not going to that.
Dude, because you know how everybody in metal tries to one up the next person? You could be like, please.
Check out my certificate of completion from the University of Helsinki.
Check out my degree, bitch.
So that would be pretty cool.
That would be cool.
Man.
Another thing that's got me excited, the band Arcturus are releasing a new album on May 8th called Arcturian. This is their first album in a decade. These guys are, of course, one of the early Norwegian black metal bands, and I'm really curious to see what it sounds like.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not, oh God, what the hell does he go by these days? The original singer, Garm, or Christopher something or other, he's the guy from Ulver. Uh-huh. He's not in the band. ICS Vortex is, I believe, still the singer in Arcturus. He's also in Borknagar. And
I think that Ulver stuff, by the way, that's good stuff.
Yeah. Regardless, I'm very curious to see what this sounds like. I mean, the new Dodheimsgard is another band from that era that had, put out a new album. And obviously I've been, raving about that. Buke said he was just listening to that yesterday and was loving it, which surprised me.
Oh, you did? You got into it?
Yeah, I did actually. I did. The singing when, again, this just shows you my lack of knowledge about being a singer. When it's you kind of hear him like his solo parts, when you kind of hear like the real emotion he puts
He's
in.
like,
Yeah, I don't know how to describe that, but it's cool sounding.
Yeah, that's a great album.
I spent my listening time this last couple weeks going backwards through your top 20 list. But that was one of the other major notes I made from the last show was because that had such a heavy effect on George. I was gonna soon. I'll be there with you guys soon and check it out.
Check out my number one, Primordial.
Oh, I already had that anyway.
How amazing is that album? Okay.
Oh, it's great. I like them a lot, dude. I've been following them for a while.
Yeah, in case you didn't know, it's all about Buke.
Yeah. Well, I will tell you this. Actually, it is all about Buke. It's funny because I've been listening to the stuff I didn't have, but the one I've probably listened to the most is something I had already listened to 100 times, which is the Triptychon record. I just had constantly reminded how good that is, and I went out and bought it on vinyl.
Album. That's all I heard last year from this guy. George heard it the first time. He goes, "That's it, album of the year."
Yep. Hey, I'm smart like that.
Yeah.
Do you think it's as good an album as George puts it on?
I really do.
Okay.
I think it's amazing. I love Tom Warrior in general. I'm reading his book right now, which is just really fucking cool. And I'm even more impressed with him now because there's an artistic intent behind everything he does.
Yeah.
And I was going to ask you, George, if you'd watched. There's a documentary online about them that you can watch on YouTube for free called "The Dying God."
Yes, I have seen that.
Yeah. So, but anyway, I'm just all freaked out on that record. So I've probably listened to Triptychon at least once a day since the last time we spoke.
Right on. And I want to mention that after we spoke last time, Jay was kind enough to send us a copy of both Only Death is Real, the Celtic Frost Hellhammer book, as well as Murder in the Front Row, the book with the visual history of the Bay Area thrash scene. We were blown away by this.
It's extremely generous.
So thank you.
Oh, but you know what it is, dude? It's one of those. I'm sure you guys are like this sometimes too. It's just like I couldn't handle not knowing you guys weren't looking at those. You know what I mean?
Well, I've been going through it quite a bit.
Video games. I'll buy my friends games like, you need to check this out.
You need to be here. Yeah.
I read the Nocturno Culto intro to Only Death is Real, and I'm just getting started into the book.
Yeah, it's great. I mean, it's really a good read, actually, surprisingly so. Plus, the pictures are just awesome. And then, just like you. The Murder in the Front Row one is just like this huge nostalgia trip for me, you know.
Totally.
So, yeah, they're awesome photos, and I love. And that's like it's got all the old pictures of Metallica's house they lived in and stuff. And yeah, it's just. I also kind of really want to support that press. It's called Bazillion Points Press, and they're putting out. They put out exclusively shit like that. You know, who else is going to put out a book? Called,
is that the Richard Christie?
It is. It's Richard Christie stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that. I'll be honest with you, I didn't know that.
Yep, he did
Sound of the Beast.
Sound of the Beast, the history of heavy metal. I think they do a cooking book maybe about metal.
So yeah, it's totally a metal publisher.
But a nice format too, aren't they? Though I mean, they're like
it's beautiful, beautiful.
They look like textbooks.
Yeah, I was thinking that I was holding them under my arm like textbooks, and I'm going. Told my wife I'm going to study.
Helsinki. You got to get ready.
Yep. Heavy Metal 101.
It was my extreme pleasure to send them to you. And I love to share the love kind of thing. And I knew you guys would love those. So yeah, no, definitely.
Thank you.
It's nice to have somebody to give them to. Somebody who knows that you were like, dude, these are fucking badass. So cool. Yeah, you'll have to let me know what you think of the Celtic Frost when you're done reading it too.
Definitely.
Which, by the way, I've been trying to zero in on Celtic or Celtic. God damn it,
Celtic.
Tom goes two different ways. I was watching Dying God. He says Celtic once and Celtic another. I was like, not you too, Tom.
Oh, he's even confused.
If you're from Boston, it's Celtic. Anybody else, it's Celtic.
Fair enough. That's a good rule to go by.
All right, we've got one more news item. And this one made me kind of double take. I was like, wait, what? And apparently Chance, the singer of Skeleton Witch, is no longer in the band. Now, we know that late last year,
we mentioned it.
He left the tour, but there was nothing much really said about it. It sounded like we were like, it was a health problem or a family problem or something. They didn't say much about it, but now it's come out that Chance has a drinking problem, and he was kicked out of the band for being an asshole, Dave Mustaine style.
I totally missed this news story, by the way, until you said something about it. I don't know how I missed it.
Yeah, I just saw it yesterday.
Oh, it was yesterday. Okay.
Yeah. And, Chance wrote to, was it Metal Sucks? And they posted it on the site, basically owning it, saying, I was a drunk asshole, and I didn't, until this happened, I didn't really know what a jerk I was being. And it sucks that it took me getting kicked out of the band for me to know this, but he's definitely owning it and trying to get better, he says.
Okay.
Don't know if he'll actually get to come back to the band or if he's going to have to start something new. Apparently, Skeleton Witch is doing some touring anyway with a different singer, a guy named Andy Horn, from a band that Buke recently featured on here called Battle Master from Richmond.
Yep.
What's the deal with Richmond, dude? Is there like a kick-ass scene there or what? Jesus.
Totally. Yeah, I mean, Guar and Lamb of God and Municipal Waste. And
There's something in the water over there or something.
well, it's it's like an art school town.
Oh, is it? Okay.
I mean, it's also the home of Marlboro, but there is like an art school there or something, and so a lot of creative types congregate there.
Okay, yeah, it's funny. I was going to ask you about it last time because it's already, it comes up several times. Last time we spoke, it came up a couple times. Richmond you'd gone to the barbecue and stuff, but yeah, that's cool. I would like. Have you been there? Well, you were there for the barbecue. Have you been there before that?
Been through there, but there's not really any other reason to stop in there for me anyway. Although now they've got the Guar bar. So we're hoping to do a road trip in the next month or so.
I talked to a stripper last night, George, and while we have high hopes of going there, she says it's about as big as a closet.
Oh, is that true?
That's what she says. She's from Richmond.
I thought I saw pictures, though.
Yeah, I thought I did, too. I remember thinking that place looks cool.
Well, if it's as big as a closet, then I'll eat in Guar's closet. I don't fucking care. I want to go.
Maybe, so I wonder if you're thinking this is an attempt at reconciliation for him, by the way, the Skeleton Witch thing.
Yeah, it sounded like it, I mean, he sounded contrite and was kind of hoping that, how many alcoholics and junkies have you ever heard about that were like, I'm kicking, man, I'm done. And then they don't. So, he's said what he said, but he's got to, prove it with actions and get himself cleaned up, and maybe they'll let him come back. I don't know. It'd be nice if they did.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. I mean, they're kind of a cool band. They're just like one of those working man's bands out there. I feel like they're not, not everybody talks about them, but they're consistent. They put out pretty consistent releases.
Yeah,
and they tour like crazy, man. They're always on tour. It seems like to me.
Yeah.
So, I hope it works out for them.
Me too.
Yeah, we'll see. They always have cool covers too. That was one of the reasons we asked Andre Buzikov to do ours.
Yeah. So I've only got a couple new releases this week, but they're both pretty cool. First one I've already mentioned before, the new Minsk album, The Crash and the Draw. That's dropping. I love this album. I just got the vinyl like a week or so ago, and I haven't listened to it quite as much as the Dodheimsgard, so I'm still not sure on where it stands, but it's definitely a cool album.
It's got a cool cover.
It does. Have you listened to this yet, Buke?
I have.
Yeah,
it's been taking a back seat to the Dodheimsgard also.
Right. Yeah, so we'll have to get into it more, but I definitely recommend checking it out.
On my list.
Now, this next one I've been seeing a lot of talk on social media.
In fact, I think Will mentioned this one. Was it Will that mentioned it yesterday? The new Morgoth album, Ungod. They're another band that they were more of a like early '90s death metal band. Haven't done anything in a while. I think I looked it up, but I've forgotten. It's been like 7, 8, 10 years or more, maybe even more, since there's been a Morgoth release.
And knowing Will and his style that he likes, I bet you he's really all over this album now.
Yeah. So I got the promo for it a few weeks back, and it's good. It's definitely good. So make sure to check out Morgoth. What's that?
Cool. And I always like to see guys coming back too, so that's cool too. You never know what they learned while they were gone. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Maybe something cool. So
I just do a mention here. It's not a new release, but in a sense, it is. One of the bands we featured on here, King Giant, they're doing a crowdfunding Kickstarter campaign right now for their newest album to be released on vinyl.
Yes.
Forgive me, I don't have the album on it right now, the name, but George and I have both backed it.
You know what? I will too. I will out of sheer principle.
I think it was like $25 to
and you get a copy of the vinyl.
You get a copy. George and I both backed it at the $30 level. You get a beer colored vinyl. That's what they describe the color at.
I'm down, dude. I'm totally for a vinyl and to just kind of pass the good karma around since, we just had a successful Kickstarter. I'm happy to go support him. I'll do it today.
Right on. That album's called Black Ocean Waves, by the way.
Which one was it?
The King Giant album is called Black Ocean Waves.
Yep.
That's the name of the record. Okay, cool.
$16, I'll get you a copy on black vinyl.
Yeah.
Awesome. Cool.
Great band.
Yeah, we should always plug like that, by the way. Really take care of people. Those guys, it's cool, man. People are out there working hard. They need help, and if they want to print on vinyl, God bless them. I'll do my best to help them out.
And can I plug another band also, Catatonic Society? Their album Baptistina. Baptistina.
Is your turn to say it, Ron?
Yes. Check out this album again, not just because Jay's on, but please, if you're a fan of that thrash, that high on fire sound, check this album out. It's fucking amazing.
Did you guys get your CDs yet?
Nope.
I'm sure you'll see them Monday then. I put them in the mail a couple days ago. So,
well, I did get a notice from the PO box that something came in yesterday. So it might have actually shown up, and I just haven't been there to pick it up yet.
Cool.
Yep, check it out. So what else we got, George?
Well, we've got a band we're going to play for you this week.
This band is awesome.
Yeah.
The band is called Sonus Mortis.
Totally dug this, man.
So we saw this review from Thy Demons Be Scribbling for Sonus Mortis and the new album called War Prophecy. They've been helping us out. We've been helping them out. So we're like, hell yeah, we're going to go check this out. And Sonus Mortis is a one-man band from Dublin, Ireland. This is the love child of a guy named Kevin Byrne. The music is like a symphonic death doom. And this is the band's second album. The first album was called Propaganda Dream Sequence. I ordered War Prophecy on Bandcamp, the physical CD copy. Then I wrote to him and said, hey, can we put you on the podcast? And he's like, sure. And I'm going to throw in the first album for free. So he sent me both. I already got them.
Oh, nice.
Good stuff. We're going to play you some music from the War Prophecy album today.
It's a good record. I really dig this record, and I got to tell you, I'm nothing but impressed by all the guys who do this thing one person at a time. How they really pull that off. The amount of work that must go in. The artwork on this record is great. I looked at his CD packaging on his Facebook page. It's really nice. It's cool stuff, dude. I'm digging this. I listened to I only had time to listen to the record once, but I was totally into it. Thought it was really great.
Yeah, as a former one-man band myself, I always appreciate a good one-man band project that comes out well, which I never managed to do. But, obviously it can be done because people are doing it. And Kevin is an example here. So we're going to play you a song now off of War Prophecy.
My favorite track.
This is the track, The Crypt of the Death Prophet.
Searching these dark caves for days to take just one long last look into her eyes. The image of her imprint stepped to my mind and stays. I hope my revelations will be to her surprise. Crucified. She says the righteous man forgiven. She completes me. She completes me. I lift up the crypt just to see her face. The lifeless body with such grace. Now I can travel down before I am. I still hear whisper. I am dead. She rises from the tomb and now stands so tall. The knowledge when its goes revealing all. I'm the first to witness the glorious resurrection. I'll be first to embrace her new ways of perfection. She moves, she turns, she looks, she stands, she plays, she plays, she's great. I lift up the crypt just to see her face. The lifeless body with such grace.
All right, that was Sonus Mortis and the track The Crypt of the Death Prophet off of the band's second album, War Prophecy. Pretty good shit, huh?
Badass, dude.
Right
Seriously.
on.
Talented kid.
Yeah.
And I say kid, I don't know how old he is, but he looks kind of young to me. I saw his pictures on his Facebook page.
They're all younger than us.
That's
These
a
days.
few true things were ever said.
Yeah. All right. Well, if you like that, stick around to the end of the show. We're going to play you another track from War Prophecy. All right. Let's get into our top 3 for this week. I know we're all chomping at the bit to do this.
Totally excited.
I'm excited for this one. This was
I can't wait to see what you guys say.
this was a fun one. Mine,
right.
I'll probably be on the outside on mine.
Well, this is the top 3 bands that we miss. You miss them because they're no longer around, or they broke up, or whatever reason the band's not around anymore, and you sure wish that they still were.
If they did a show, a one-off thing, not every member, does that still count? It counts on my fucking list.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Because we want them to come back, make more records,
Yes.
do shit like that.
Right. Yeah. You wish they'd come back and do something. And Jay and I both mentioned that I personally just found out last night that one of mine is actually ramping up again. So I'm cool about that. And I think Jay, you said you had one too.
Well, it comes with the rumor of a new record, but that's it. But that's cool because I'd be happy if these guys made a new record.
Exactly. All right. Well, who wants to go first?
We're going to do our number 3s each, then we'll do our number 2s and our number 1.
Fair enough.
Okay, Jay, since you're our guest, you're number 3.
Nevermore. And this is the one that I love, Nevermore, dude. I thought everything from the one before, they're all really good, actually. I don't know what you guys think of them. Good stuff, man. I fucking think they're super heavy. And I thought This Godless Endeavor was like one of the best post-2000 metal albums. And anyway, so this is my rumor one too, was apparently Warrell Dane last said, or in Blabbermouth this morning, he said he thinks there'll be another Nevermore record.
Shit.
Yeah.
Is Van going to be with them and everything?
That's what I was going to say was Van the drummer.
Van the drummer and
Ashes of Aries.
what's his name is also doing solo guitar stuff now.
Jeff Loomis.
Yeah, Jeff Loomis joined Arch Enemy.
Yeah, it's almost better for the world that Nevermore stay dead because Warrell Dane goes back to Sanctuary, which is awesome that they're back.
Yeah.
Well, Van goes to Ashes of Aries, which is awesome. Jeff Loomis is doing his thing.
He said he and Jeff Loomis talk. He said, we're not enemies or anything like that. You should probably go read the story. But
Okay.
he said he
I'll
thinks
read
there'll
it.
be one more. And he said he wants to do it with those guys.
You said that was on Blabbermouth today?
Blabbermouth this morning.
Okay, brother. I'll check it out.
Yeah. Are you guys Nevermore fans at all?
Oh,
Yeah.
I am a huge Nevermore fan. That album,
More so than me.
what's it? Dead Heart in a Dead World.
Right.
Dude, that track, the River Dragon.
Well, this piece of news came out because they were interviewing him at, he went down like Brazil or something and did a 20th anniversary of that album. So that'll make you feel a little old.
Oh, man.
And they did the whole record. I don't know. It was him and probably local musicians. Anyway, Nevermore. I defer to your first choice, Buke or George.
I will take this. Mine is a power metal band.
Okay.
Okay. Their last album left me fucking wanting more because it was amazing. Okay. It's just a Swedish power metal band, Lost Horizon.
Right on. You bring them back.
Their album, 2003, A Flame to the Ground Beneath.
I know
One of
that.
my favorite. I'm here in the podcast, big power metal fan. This album is easily one of my favorite power metal bands. When George and I did our power metal show last year, I forgot this fucking band because there's so many power metal bands I love. But if these guys were to come back, I'd be happy.
It's funny. My number 3 is a Swedish power metal band too.
Wow.
It's a little known band called Timeless Miracle.
I've never heard that, George.
I have played that for you.
I know, but it's just not striking me right now.
Into the Enchanted Chamber is hands down probably one of my favorite power metal albums.
Was it Timeless Marigold, like the flower? I didn't.
No, Miracle. Timeless Miracle.
Okay, thanks.
And they put out an album in 2005 called Into the Enchanted Chamber, and it was fucking brilliant. And, this to me is what power metal should sound like.
Cool beans.
And they put out one album in 2005 and then pretty much dropped off the planet.
Oh, that was it. One record.
One record, that was it. And it was like, what the hell? And, you research online and everybody's going, I really wish these guys would come back. They were really good. And they just stopped. They did the album. They said they were going to start working on the second album and it just never materialized. But this is the band that I heard just last night. They are in fact working on a new album, finally.
Hell yeah.
And so I am really stoked. I mean, I'm a little reserved because it's been 10 years and it could sound completely different. Who knows if it's the same people? Hopefully it's at least the same singer because he's what made it for me.
Well, what year did you say it came out, George?
2005.
Yeah, so it could be some different people.
But I am hopeful that it will be amazing.
God damn.
So that's my number 3. What's your number 2?
All right, I went. And I think I went a little more mainstream than you guys. I mean, some of mine are a little more visible, which is cool. And either way, but I mean, I tried to think of guys like. I mean, it would be too easy to say something like Zeppelin, which I'm not going to say. But I have to tell you, I didn't choose some bands because I've had enough from those bands. You know what I mean? Like Zeppelin, that's a good start and a good finish. Leave it alone.
Yep.
So I tried to choose bands that I really thought might do something interesting again. And I would like to see Emperor make more records.
Nice.
Yeah, I really like them a lot, man.
Yeah.
I thought those last couple were great, and then that was it. They were done. And I even though he went on to do the Isane stuff or Isane or whatever,
Isan.
would love Isan. Is that how I pronounce it?
Yeah.
And the Zyklon and all that. I'd like to see more Emperor records. So like to see
Totally.
them.
They get together for shows like, Vakken every once in a while, and they'll
Yeah, they
do a
did one in
show.
New York, too. They did one in New York and a bunch. I remember people were flying there to see it.
Yeah, I would love to see them.
Was there or something?
Because they were at Vakken last year. That was why I wanted to go, because I wanted to see them. All right.
Cool. Yeah, that would have been super cool.
My number 2, it may be on George's list. We asked Brian Slagle about them because we're both huge fans. This album came out, and it was probably, I know it would make my list, probably make George's for top 10 albums the last 10, 15 years. Disillusion. Back to the times of splendor when that came out. What, 04, 05 maybe?
I think it was 03 even.
That album hit an instant classic. If you ask me, for modern metal albums.
Yeah. They put out an album
Yeah,
afterward
they
that
made
wasn't
one
as,
album after that wasn't as good.
No.
But these guys just said, what did Slagle say? That they just
sort of drifted away.
Just sort of drifted away, and there were a reason.
Like people got jobs or something like that. I remember.
Wow. That
Because I heard that podcast, your podcast.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a good record, though, dude. I dug that, too. And that was really cool. I remember when you guys brought that up during the podcast on that interview, I was like, man, these guys are cool motherfuckers, man. That was a good poll, as Buke would put it, to have that one in your back pocket.
That just reminded me I'm going to have like a 2.5 before I do my 2. Also mentioned from the Slagle interview was a band called Beyond the Embrace.
Yeah.
I loved them. I'd like to see them come back.
Cool.
But my actual number 2, and Buke's going to be surprised that it's number 2. My number 2 is Woods of Ypres.
Oh, I'm not surprised. Oh, you mean he thought you'd be number 1?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, Woods of Ypres, one of my favorite bands of the last 5 years.
Yeah, and you're always quick to say that, dude, which means it's always right there on the tip of your tongue.
Yep. It's never far from my mind. And so I would love for David Gold to still be with us and putting out music.
Well, I'm glad it's okay to go posthumous, too, because I had to choose one posthumous.
All right.
So I'm going to combine my last. I have a 3 point, or let's call it a 3 or 1.5 and a 1. And my 1.5, shit, no joke, man. I chose this before the rumor came up, but it was Richie Blackmore. I want to see him come back to heavy music.
Right on.
And I already written that down and emailed it to myself, so I'm proud to say that I had 2 rumors
There you
attached.
go.
And then I'll say, Richie, I'd like to see Richie do something with anybody. I don't give a shit who it is. And finally, this is a posthumous one, so it doesn't count. But it is still my number 1 at the same time, which is Dio's death was terrible, but I think that what would have happened if he hadn't died was they would have made more Heaven and Hell records rather than Sabbath records with Ozzy.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I would have much preferred that. I thought it wasn't like a Earth Stopper, but I did think that The Devil You Know was a good record.
So did I. I listened to it the other day again. Adam
good.
Evil, Bible Black.
Fucking great.
Oh.
And I mean, it's great. And I saw them on every tour opportunity I had. I was seeing that band 3
George and I
times.
saw him a couple of times.
Yeah.
So that would be my number 1. If there could be
Man, that is a great number 1.
What do you got, Buke?
George knows me well. He probably knows what I'm going to say. I'm not going to say really what I want to because it's probably going to be on his number 1. My number 1, I love them. They played a couple of shows a couple months back. Super Joint Ritual.
Oh, dude,
Phil
that's great.
Anselmo fronted band.
You wouldn't rather have Pantera back?
I tried to go a little more obscure on this.
Okay.
Would I love to have Pantera back? I'd almost give my daughter up for that. Okay.
But you know what, though, dude? Seriously, Buke? Both of you guys might think I'm an idiot, and that's cool. But I got to tell you, I like all of the Philip Anselmo post-Pantera stuff better than I like Pantera. I'm not fucking.
Wow. And you know what? George is admitted. George, never got into Super Joint Ritual. Maybe I need to do a convincing George for him. Super Joint Ritual was just that raw, not raw like shitty like Phil's last solo album.
Yeah.
But this was just a raw, great project. They did the 2 albums, Use Once and
Destroy.
Yeah.
Good stuff, dude. I like Pantera, don't get me wrong, but I just think it turns out in the end that I think I have more in common with Philip Anselmo do. It taste-wise.
Yeah, same.
Yeah.
And Phil, and the nice thing about Superjoint is Phil wanted to, I think, go back to his roots.
You know what? And they're my roots.
Yeah,
so
and Phil was having a lot of fun. Like, I have a couple of DVDs. One of them, he's at CBGB's. He's letting people on fucking stage with him. They're moshing and jumping off the stage into the crowd. It just looked like he took a step back to his roots. So,
hats off, dude. That's a good.
I would love to see Superjoint Ritual come back and do a full tour and album again.
Cool. Right on. My number 1. Any guesses, Buke?
Sentence.
That's
why I didn't say it. I didn't want to take your fire.
That'd have made the potty. Oh. Yeah.
Because it would have been mine.
Yeah. Well, I was thinking while we were talking, I was like, oh man, Typo Negative. I'd love to have Typo Negative back. Of course, Dio. So yeah, Sentenced, one of my all-time favorite bands. They just sort of packed it in, like 10 years ago and said, all right, we've taken it as far as we can take it. We're done. And then, of course, Mika, the guitar player, died. So that really kind of put a damper on any kind of reunion.
Yeah.
So that's my number 1.
Well, we're like 3 fucking geniuses, man. Those are all great lists.
Excellent. So what's everybody listening to this week? What do you got, Jay?
Tomb, Savage Gold, man. Kind of stuck on that one. That's a good record. You guys, and I credit both of you for putting it on your list. I'm digging it.
Nice.
When I heard it at first, George mentioned it. He said, just buy that. I bought it at the record store, sight unheard. Mm-hmm. And I didn't, at the time, I still admit that genre for me was kind of hard for me to break into. But because George said, it's a lot of postmodern black metal sounds to it.
Yeah.
But I love it.
It's a good one. I'll take a stab at vinyl if it's out there.
It's out there, all right. Yeah.
Yep.
I may go home and spend it tonight having a cigar in the patio.
Cool.
My what I'm listening to, fucking George, take my keys and slice my throat. It's not fucking metal, okay? But I'm telling you, I'm hooked on it. It's amazing. We get into a little softer stuff, okay?
Me too.
We do. We like rock. I admit, we both like the Dagger album.
Yeah.
It was, with bands like Visigoth and Crypt Sermon, taking a step back with the classic stuff. This album's hit me and I'm loving it. Royal Thunder.
Oh.
Crooked Doors.
They've been, even with their last album, they've been getting a lot of good press.
Dude, I'm telling you, a lot of people say Baroness, Macedon. No, this is a female-fronted classic rock, if I had to say.
Yeah, it's definitely not metal, and that's why I've sort of poo-pooed them in the past, only because they were like highly placed on metal lists. I'm like, it's not. It's
just like how I couldn't give Pale Communion. It didn't deserve placement on a metal list.
Right. I'm not. It's not a judgment of their music. They're not a metal band.
Yeah,
but they do show up like hand in hand with metal bands and lists and in the metal magazines and such. So yeah.
So I just wanted to list this because you and we said earlier this year, what's going to be our musical trend maybe for the year? And we thought maybe going back to the classical stuff with, again, Visigoth and Crypt Sermon and the Dagger. So this is it. It's an awesome classic rock type of sound. Again, Royal Thunder, Crooked Doors.
Right on. So
I've been eagerly waiting this. Come on, buddy.
I'm like Santa Metal coming to disperse you with new music to listen to this week, because I have 3 albums to tell you about.
Oh, damn.
It has been a joyous week in metal, let me tell you.
And he holds off to the podcast to tell me these. When he could have, my tough days at work, I could have been spending some of this stuff at work.
Yeah, I'm selfish like that.
Yeah.
All right, so the first one, Buke's probably heard before because they were played on the Metal Sucks podcast a couple weeks ago. This is the band called Alkaloid and their album, The Malkuth Grimoire. Now, Alkaloid is a technical death metal band that, one of the members is currently in Obscura. 2 of the members are formerly from Obscura. The guitar player and the drummer from Obscura, and then a current guitar player from Obscura. The singer is from a band called Dark Fortress, and oh my fucking God, this album. Okay.
Really?
I mean, do you know Obscura?
Yeah.
Okay.
Actually, I got that because of one of you guys.
Right. Well, Obscura's pretty good, but Alkaloid blows them out of the fucking water.
Okay.
This album, I mean, I'm not a huge tech death fan. You know, if it's good, I like it. I was listening to this the other day. Now, granted, you gotta put on some good headphones so you can hear all the nuances and the details, because this technical stuff is, you know, if you just casually listen, you're not going to pick it up. But, oh my God, what an amazing album.
What's the name of it again?
The name of the album is called The Malkuth Grimoire. I don't know if I'm pronouncing Malkuth right. It's actually...
Alkaloid is the band's name.
Yes, Alkaloid is the band.
Yep.
The Malkuth, I'm basing that on what it sounded like in the song, but it's actually also another like Middle Eastern Hebrew type word where it sounded like it was like when I tried to pronounce it. So I was like, yeah, I'm just going to go with what it sounds like in the song. But the album opener is called Carbon Phrases. And that one is very, like, it starts off really progressive and not all that heavy to start out. And then as the song builds, it gets heavier. And then by the second track, which is called From a Hadron Machinist, it's fucking balls out, heavy technical death metal. Really good stuff.
That's how I like my death metal.
And the album closes with a 12-minute masterpiece called Funeral for a Continent. How fucking badass.
Wow, these are all great titles, every single one of them.
Yeah, that's fucking cool title.
It's like all like obscure. It's all kind of like sci-fi sounding. It's pretty badass. I highly recommend checking these guys out. The next band completely changes gears. This is like a heathen pagan black metal. And the band is made up of members from Iceland and Germany. And I am going to butcher the shit out of their name. So just be prepared for that. Arstedir Leifsons.
Common spelling.
Exactly. I'm not even. I can't even attempt the album title. It's like long and all Icelandic. I wouldn't even get in the ballpark at all. But I saw a review for it in Terrorizer, and I was like, okay. And I listened to it, and I don't know if you've ever heard of the band Vardruna. They're not a metal band, though Gall from Gorgoroth and Godseed sings on the album along with some other people. It's like traditional Scandinavian folk instruments and like chanting. And if you've ever seen the TV show Vikings,
Yes.
they do the intro music for the show.
Really?
Shit.
Yeah.
Badass, dude.
And, you know, if you're into the whole like fantasy, Viking, whatever, Vardruna is really cool music. It's not metal by any stretch of the imagination, but it is really cool. Now, this band, Arstedir Leifsons, sounds like a combination of Vardruna and black metal. There's some, like, you know, folky instrumentation. All the lyrics are in Old Icelandic, and there's like deep chanting vocals alongside with, you know, traditional harsh black metal vocals, and it is fucking amazing.
Cool.
I have already ordered the vinyl from Germany.
Of course you have.
So, I should probably spell it, because otherwise nobody's going to know how to find this band. So here we go. The band name is ARSTI, sort of a D thing, IR. It looks like a D. It's not a D. ARSTIDIR. Second word, LIFSINS. Check these guys out.
And that does indeed bring it. The D thing beat there. Now that I typed it as you wrote it, and it brings up them immediately. So
yeah, so it's not a D, but it'll get you there.
Yeah, whatever the fuck that is.
I don't even know.
That's even beyond Umlaut. I have no idea what that is.
Yeah, and they're on Bandcamp, so you can check them out. It's like €7 for the album. Brilliant stuff. I love it.
Awesome, dude.
Third band, a little more traditional.
You should see how happy George is right now.
I am full of glee.
He is excited to be rattling these off.
Feeling fulfilled.
Now, this is a band people probably have heard of, at least if they're fans of death metal. Their last album came out like 2 years ago, 2 or 3 years ago, and caused quite a stir. People were pretty excited about it. This is the new album from Tribulation, called The Children of the Night. It's coming out on Century Media very soon. I don't think it's out quite yet. I got the promo, though, and damn.
Hot stuff.
Yeah, I reviewed their last album. It was called The Formula of Death, I believe.
Oh, it's got a kick-ass cover, too. And available on vinyl.
Yeah. I reviewed their last album, and I was like, okay, it surprised me. The vocals were very traditional death metal. They were kind of buried, which was my one critique of the album. But the music was very good. And so I was like, huh? And I like, it sort of brought me back, and I actually, reviewed it because of that. So when I saw they had a new album coming out, I was like, gotta hear this. Did they fix the things that I wanted fixed? And yes and no. The music sounds phenomenal. It is like, it's technical, not like Alkaloid Obscura technical, but it's kind of clean in a production standpoint. And it's not like a wall of sound. So you can actually hear guitar leads and riffs and things. And I was like, that's awesome. I mean, death metal tends to be a wall of noise.
So there are guys that are starting to, well, I mean, there's always been a few, but it's funny how that's the avant-garde, isn't it? It used to be like it was avant-garde to just be so much noise, kind of thing. And now it's the opposite. To still use those same chords and structures and all that different stuff, but to fucking clean it up a little bit. Yeah. And it's cool. It's cool. There's some really cool things that are happening with bands that are doing that.
Yeah, and the vocals are still harsh, still slightly lower in the mix than I would prefer. I think it would be a lot stronger if, he could sing harsh, but they could just give it a little more punch. But still, it sounds really good. In fact, it reminds me of like early 90s, like Tiamat, the Astral Sleep.
Yeah.
Kind of that sort of like stripped down death metal that's just fucking cool.
Are they, I forgot if you said where they were from.
I want to say they're Swedish.
Okay.
I'm going to look that up.
I mean, I like it. I mean, probably that they, actually, I'm kind of looking stuff up as we speak. In any case, they look cool, dude. They look sort of like Celtic Frost.
Yeah, kind of.
Yeah, a little bit. Awesome, dude. Fucking.
Yeah. George coming in here, dropping the fucking bomb and then leaving.
Dropping some knowledge.
He's an expensive friend to have, man.
You're telling me.
Yeah, they're from Sweden.
Cool. I'm down.
All right. We're nearing the end finally. My wife has been texting me going, are you done yet? But we still got to do a classic album.
I'm excited. I'm excited.
Okay, well, let's save Jay to the end.
Yeah, do you want? I mean, I already told you guys what mine is, so I should probably go first.
Go first.
In the spirit of remembering people, as we mentioned earlier with Scott Columbus, a few days from now is the 5th anniversary of the passing of Typo Negative's Peter Steele. So, in the spirit of remembering Mr. Steele, my classic for this week is Bloody Kisses. Came out in 1993. I was like, damn, that's like 22 years old.
Dude, that's a long time ago.
Yeah, I remember the first time I heard Typo Negative, they were on Headbangers Ball, and they played the video for Black Number One, and I was like, I fell instantly in love with this band. I was like, I love his voice, that deep and gothic. I ran out and bought that as soon as I could find it.
And the Playgirl to go with it.
Shh, don't tell anybody.
They made good records up until he died, dude. I don't know if you have like Dead Again. God, that was a good record.
That was a good album.
That was a great album.
He can't say enough about Peter Steele, dude. Love him. Love the band. Think of
You're cutting out, dude.
Like some strange mix between like Sabbath and Pink Floyd or something. You know what I mean? Like just totally depressing, insanely cool stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. Love it. Cool. Good choice, dude.
Mine.
Yeah.
Nothing super special. Was just browsing things on the web. This was album was celebrating 25 years. I was just in a brutal, angry mood earlier in the week. I just wanted some aggression to get out. This is Pungent Stench. For God, your soul. For me, your flesh.
Nice.
Celebrating 25 years this week.
Well, Pungent Stench became Hollenthon.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I don't know. If you haven't heard Hollenthon, you should check them out too.
So yeah, this album was celebrating 25 years. It's just, I found this again earlier in the week. I have it in my collection, but it just came on random shuffle. It was one of the things as I'm playing my game, I had to alt tab out and be like, "Who's this again?" Yeah. So again, Pungent Stench.
All right.
Mine is. I had purposely tried to think of something that might be a little George Stumper, but I don't think this will now. The more I've thought about it, I think it will. But it's a great record, and it's a record you could easily not know was great. Anyway, they had 2 records. They're from Metal Blade Records back in the 80s. They had 2 records on Metal Blade. I think they had more records than that. And before I tell you who they are, I have to tell you that the 2 records in particular, one of which is my classic, have the worst cover art in the history of cover arts. Terrible. You would have picked it like this. So it's a Hallows Eve 80s thrash band the record's called Death and Insanity. Fucking killer record. And it was this weird record where they were one of the first thrash bands that kind of took this strange turn and started doing these sort of weird, like socially conscious lyrics or something like that.
Yeah.
I can't explain it. You have to hear it. Record's called Death and Insanity. Totally fucking out. Total lost gem. Great record.
Yeah, I first heard those guys on Best of Metal Blade compilation.
Honestly, I thought if I didn't stump you, that might be why. I swear to God, I thought he at least got this on a comp.
Yeah, there's a song called "Plunging to Megadeth," and it's
absolutely.
And it came out before Megadeth because it was Death DEATH and plunging to Megadeth.
That's the guys.
Yeah.
Nice call, Jay.
What's that?
What a great album. I've never heard this. I'm going to check.
Oh, yeah, they're good.
It's good stuff. Good stuff.
Yep.
So that's mine.
Right on.
Cool.
All right, well, we're getting ready to wrap this up, and then we're going to play you another song on the way out. But before we go, make sure to check us out on Facebook. Check us out on Twitter. I am Disciple OV Metal.
Again, for another check mark, I'm at Opeth Fan.
And you can get a hold of either of us, any of us, at Metalheads Pod. We're also on Instagram at Metalheads Podcast. You can check us out on YouTube. We're also on Stitcher. You can stream it from metalheadspodcast.com. And if you would, please go on to iTunes or even on YouTube. Just leave us a comment, give us some stars, tell us how great we are, tell us how shitty we are, whatever you got to do. But, let us hear you.
But more importantly, also, again, for joining us. We hope to make this a regular thing. Jay, check out his band, Catatonic Society.
Definitely.
Dude, I'll tell you right now, on the air, anytime you invite me, I'm going to be there. And if you just want to say we invite you every week, I'm going to be here every week.
Okay.
We invite you every week.
We invite you every week.
Before we go, I should note, it's going to be really busy in the coming weeks. This is probably our only April podcast. I'm going to be in Orlando next week, as I think I mentioned. And then I think the week after that, Buke is out of town. So it'll be May. And of course, with May's busy with there's a lot of concerts. There's M3, there's Death Fest. So, we're going to try and do what we can. At least we're giving you a long frickin' episode. We'll be back as soon as we can be.
And myself, George, and now Jay, we're emailing and texting every day almost, like old friends. So when we're back, we'll hit you with a bunch of content.
Yep.
Yeah,
I'm the one with a baby. I'm the one who should be postponing these episodes.
Yeah, life happens. Got to do what you got to do.
Yep.
So, all right. Well, we're going to get out of here now. And before we go, we're going to play you another song from Sonus Mortis. This is the album's title track, War Prophecy. We'll see you next time.